welcome to Doors and Corners, a sci-fi and fantasy film commentary podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Zach. And every Friday we sit down and watch a science fiction or fantasy film and give our 2 cents on its quality, production, story, and trivia.
We watch the film together, but without sounds or visuals provided to avoid copyright issues. But if you do have access, we encourage you to join us and follow along.
Here, we like to keep things casual, and there may be discussions of spoilers or sensitive materials or language. But we do try and keep things clean and family-friendly. Ultimately, the goal of this podcast is to create the experience of us all sitting down and watching this movie together.
So get ready to hit that play button, because we're about to get started.
Damn Doors and Corners, I mean, that's where they get you.
Welcome back to Doors and Corners. I'm Brian.
I'm Zach.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Oh yes, today we are doing 1989's Batman. I can't say that it's the original Batman movie,
No.
as technically there were other Batman films in front of it, whether you're counting the really, really old ones, the 1966 version, or even...
We had that on our schedule at one point to do before we got to this, and we just kind of,
That's true.
what are you going to do? We were going to do it with Dan, and then things got moved around, and we'll get to that one eventually, because I have an affection for that film, even if it's campy as heck. It was supposed to be, so what are you going to do?
And this was supposed to be the antithesis of camping.
And it still is somehow... This movie is campy also, but in very different ways. It's unintentionally campy.
It's of its era.
Oh,
campy.
yeah. This is like the most...
when
this is
first came
80s
out, it
Batman,
was
like
campy.
distilled into the most 80s of 80s Batman you can get.
You mean going against the grain, vastly misinterpreting what Batman
This is-
was before it,
Well,
while
this
greatly
is...
affecting what came after it?
Yeah, but this is like 80s in like goth makeup, you know?
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Brian, we're talking about freaking Batman tonight. Do you realize that the 2 things that I can just discuss and nerd out and
Yeah.
go absolutely nuts about are Star Wars and Batman?
Yeah,
Like,
it's considering how many other things are actually also like things you can go for a long time on, the things that you really can go on, this is gonna be dangerous because we actually need to watch this movie at some point, not just talk about it for the next 4 hours, which we totally could do.
We very much could. Because, interestingly enough, even though I did technically grow up with this movie present, because, I'm significantly younger than you, so I wasn't even born
Child.
when it was out. But, because growing up, mine was, the big Batman movie was Batman Forever. Okay? This movie was seen as the Batman movie.
Oh, yeah.
This was the big one. And it was kind of the gold standard up until Batman Begins came out. And frankly, I never really liked it.
It was...
I never hated it, but
Yeah.
I was just like indifferent. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. The humor wasn't my type of humor. I didn't understand half of the cultural references that they were making because I never watched Jack Nicholson movies.
Yeah, this movie, and I apologize ahead of time because the phrase "a product of its time" is going to be repeated many times in the next 2 to 3 hours.
Many, many times.
I'm glad that this came 89. I was a wee lad. I was 9 years old, but still, very much able to remember this movie taking over the world. When I say the world, it's such an American thing because it took over America, so it might as well take over the world. It was big internationally, but this took over the U.S. pop culture for an entire summer. It was everywhere. It was in every toy commercial. It was the marketing for this was so insane.
This was one of the first movies to
Yeah.
have a truly massive marketing budget. They went over the top with it. It was crazy.
It was everywhere. And so I remember that. What's funny is I remember that, but this movie, I did not get to see this movie in theaters because I was, my parents were like, "No, you're too young. This looks too dark." So I saw this movie. I saw the TV version of this movie. I want to say a year later, maybe a year and a half. I don't know. So this is just flash from the past for me that back when a major network like NBC or ABC would get a big movie like this and get to show it with commercials, obviously, on like a Friday night or a Saturday night, and it was a big deal because VHS tapes were expensive. It was you could rent it, but we didn't have. I mean, even owning a VHS player was kind of a big deal in the late '80s, and so I saw this for the first time in the kind of the edited with commercials. It was probably over 3.5 hours if I had to guess with all the ad breaks.
Probably 2.5 hours, I think.
Yeah, probably. I mean, and just that was my first time watching this, and then a friend of mine had owned the VHS for this, probably 91, 92 if I had to guess, and that's when I finally got to see the full version. But I remember,
great year,
because this was a film, especially because of where Forever and Batman and Robin went, the tone they went, the way they were received. I mean, Batman Forever was actually liked quite a bit when it came out. We'll get to that film actually later this year, so look forward to that. But and then Batman Forever was just a disaster. There wasn't any time where Batman and Robin was considered good in my memory. But
nope.
Those films actually, I mean, this movie was a hit when it came out. Most people loved it. There were definitely some issues with it that it propped up at the time. We'll talk about it when we get to them. But this movie almost grew in its esteem because where Batman went was so disliked that it was like this was looked back on it like, see, you could have just stuck with Burton. You could have just stuck with Keaton. If you had stuck with Burton and Keaton, everything would have magically been amazing, which is not how it works, by the way. There are plenty of filmmakers that make good first movies and then cannot follow through on them.
I really do wish that George Lucas could have made the sequel series, but that doesn't mean that they would have been better than what we got.
Yeah. So
okay. And in retrospect, the failure of the sequels has made the prequels even more beloved.
Yeah. So I'm with you, though. We'll just get this out of the way at the beginning. For anybody watching this that holds this movie as sacred, I apologize because for as much as there are many aspects of this film that I love, that are iconic, that hold up, absolutely hold up, there are many, many parts of it that don't. And this movie always, to me, was kind of an odd entry because it
absolutely craps in the face of all of Batman's lore in so many places.
The thing is that I wasn't really aware of, because again, we've talked about this in many different, mostly in MCU stuff. I'm not a big comic book guy, so I didn't have this established history and lore of Batman in my mind from comics. I knew him from I watched a lot of the Adam West stuff, and I had played some video games, and I had thumbed through a few comics at Borders and those kind of places, but it wasn't until the animated series that I really felt like I understood the greater world of Batman better. And the animated series actually owes a lot to this film. So like that, I will absolutely give it credit for that. It owns a lot of its tone to this film. So but I don't hold this movie sacred. I know to this day, a lot of people really hold this movie as like, this movie
the gold
actually
standard of Batman films.
This movie actually has a lot of and we'll get to it as we're watching it, but there's a lot of influence and inspiration from the original Christopher Reeve Superman movie as far as kind of a template. There's a lot of kind of studio and like looking at that as kind of how you do it. And that movie to me still holds up. That movie still has the spirit of Superman so deeply imbued in it. And we've done those films. I love the first one. If you wanted my thoughts, go back and listen to that. But that movie still holds up. I will still happily watch that and enjoy that and discuss it with glee. This movie's a much more mixed bag than the original Superman the movie. So that's like my broad thoughts.
I actually am going to disagree with you a little bit on that. I think that this movie does still hold up. Yes, it's a product of its time in a lot of ways. It's still a really entertaining and interesting watch. And it's so good to be able to acknowledge like it's important in the grand scheme of
it's
things.
very important.
But where it kind of breaks down is that so many things about Batman's origins have become iconic. And that's not using just the Gen Z TikTok use of the word iconic. Genuinely iconic iconography that is important to the cultural ethos. That this movie contradicts. That this movie goes out of its way to be like, no. This is actually different now. And it's only this. Well, okay, I can't say only this movie. it's this movie and like the next one and a little bit of Batman Forever
Yeah.
and a little bit of Batman versus Superman.
Well, there's some
And-
stuff where Tim Burton basically said like I didn't think it'd be that big of a deal, and was like, oh, it was a big deal apparently.
Yeah,
he took some
well,
liberties.
Tim Burton also famously just like didn't really study the comics.
Yeah, I think that somebody that because it was referenced in so many behind the scenes stuff, a lot of them kind of thumbed through, what's the famous Frank Miller? My mind just stopped.
The Dark Knight Returns.
Dark Knight Returns. They kind of flipped through it for kind of a tone piece, and then that was it. That was like all the research done in a lot of ways.
Mixed with what was understood from the 1966 Batman show.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Batmania. That's something we're also going to talk about as we go along.
So, but why don't we? There's a decent IMDb list on this one, and then this is a long enough movie. Let's just jump right in if you
Okay,
don't mind,
so-
and talk about this
For
as we watch it.
background. All right, so this is Batman, who first appeared in Detective Comics number 27 in 1939, as created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger, which is about the movie. Okay, this is Batman from the year of our Lord 1989, rated PG-13, 2 hours and 6 minutes long, directed by Tim Burton, written by Sam Hamm, Warren Scarron, and technically Bob Kane, but that credit's kind of bullcrap. And top cast being, of course, Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, Kim Basinger.
Well, you got to give
and
Nicholson
then
his
those
top
are the
billing,
names.
man. He's gonna come get you.
Jack Nicholson, Michael Keaton, Kim Basinger, Robert Wool, Pat Hingle, Billy D. Williams, Michael Goh. And yeah, the cast on this thing's pretty darn good.
Poor
And
Billy D. Williams.
This was the dark ages of Commissioner Gordon,
Oh yeah,
before he was like a major character, and they just made him kind of a fat little man that sits off the side.
yeah. He's a character of no consequence in this film.
In pretty much any of the 90s films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this I'm excited to watch this because this is this is one of those movies that I enjoy. And just to clarify, I don't think this movie doesn't hold up. I think it does hold up as like it's a well-made film. There's definitely something to enjoy about it. But for me personally, I find this movie much more interesting to talk about than watch.
Mhm.
If that makes sense.
No, I totally get that.
So, I don't believe. Is there any kind of director's cut of this film or any alternative cut?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Just the edited, like, for TV.
Yeah. Because with it's a little over 2 hours long. I mean, if you take the credits out, this is basically a 2-hour movie. But yeah, we're just watching this on HBO Max. I have this on DVD. I got that. It's funny. I got the quadrilogy. DVD pack when it first came out. It was like a big deal. All of them were 2 discs, and I have not watched most of what's in that pack.
Yeah.
And then this one, I was looking at the 4K release of it, and it has one of the worst I hate when the cover art is redone, like some modern reinterpretation of like the
'cause
cover
they do
art.
it, like, individual colors for each movie, and
Yeah.
it's just kind of the really bland, like, big heads over a city.
And this one's like purple for some. I mean, I guess it's purple because of the Joker, but it's so. I hate the cover so much. Like this movie really was just that classic. Now it's especially classic. The bat symbol with the yellow highlight. Just that clean classic bat symbol just on a black background. I don't need a
It had
modern.
kind of a rubbery feel to it in a great way.
Yeah. I mean, as we get
It
into the
was
credits here.
tactile.
The opening credits literally just flying around the 3. I'm wondering, actually, do you know off the top of your head before we even started, do you know if this was a model that they shot of the bat symbol, or is this like early, like some kind of CG render of the bat symbol that we fly around here for the credits?
Oh, no chance it's CG. No chance.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to hit that play button. Oh, hold on. Dang it. Freaking HBO Max and its freaking ads.
The pores.
I know. You know, I love
He has
how,
a better job than I do.
but to say, tiny bit of streaming frustration. When you pay for an ad-free tier of a streaming service, that should also include their own ads for their own crap that I don't want to watch a preview for before my film. That should be included in the ad-free experience for any of them. Just saying.
Agreed.
You can advertise on your homepage all you want, but once I hit play on a film, I don't want to see that crap. Play the movie that I said I want to watch. I don't want to see an ad for Euphoria.
Ugh. I hate Euphoria with the burning passion of 1,000 fiery suns.
All right. So I have just the barely fading in, old school, wonderful Warner Brothers logo.
Same here.
All right. Well, as always, I'm trying to get better about this. If you have any feedback for us, we appreciate it. You know, like, subscribe, all that regular things, whatever platform you're listening on. Throw us a comment. Tell us you hate us. That'd be fine too. Just, you know, any interaction we do appreciate. And for the few of you that tune in every week, we really appreciate you. So thank you so much. And we are going to hit that play button.
Karen.
Yes. The family members who support us. My daughter listens to almost always religiously, and I appreciate that very much. So.
Oh no, I cuss.
I know. I have to warn her about you, man. Be like, oh, there's a bad one. And tell her.
Yeah, people often have to warn their daughters about me.
You wish that was true, my friend.
Ready to start this night.
All right. For reals this time. Hit that play button in 3, 2, 1, go. And immediately that music cue kicks in. I still associate this music cue with the animated series and the Lego. And oddly enough, the Lego games way more than this movie, even though this movie absolutely is where it came from.
Did you know that I 3D printed, built, and painted a 2.5 foot tall Batman statue, Brian?
2.5 feet tall?
2.5 feet tall.
Okay, I mean, I know you've done some Batmans, but I did not know you doing that
Yeah,
big.
it's that one that was on top of my. It's with the other. Well, okay, there's a whole Justice League, but the Batman's the biggest.
I didn't realize it was that big. It's a very nice Batman. Yeah.
He's big.
Oh man,
I love Batman.
Okay, let's talk about the music because this is the perfect time to talk about it. This theme,
Danny frickin' Elfman.
This theme is so good. I mean, this theme is iconic at this point. I mean, I actually, as much as I will just slather all over John Williams' Superman theme because I love it so much, I think this theme is just as iconic. I honestly do. I think that this transcended this film to become Batman's theme. As much as
this is one of those things where very similar to Superman or James Bond, okay? Because one of the recent things, James Gunn with 2025 Superman declared that the John Williams Superman theme was so iconic to the character that they decided to use it for that movie, very similar to the way that the James Bond theme is used across all of his movies, even among different directors and different James Bonds. And I completely agree with that take. And if they wanted to do that with this Batman music, I'd be like, hell yeah. But at the same time, if that was the case, we would have missed out on Michael Giacchino's absolutely phenomenal Batman theme from the 2022 The Batman with Robert Pattinson. God, I love that. Just the bells.
Oh yeah, it's very good.
Batman music is just great. Okay, like Hans Zimmer and I want to say James Newton Howard.
Yep. Yeah, they collaborated for
Batman Begins. I think Batman Begins has better music than The Dark Knight. People talk about The Dark Knight and Hans Zimmer. No, James Newton Howard's primary score from Batman Begins, amazing. And here we have Danny Elfman starting his run of superhero theme music domination. Do you have any idea how many superhero themes Danny Elfman has worked on?
I know it's a lot, but give me the quick rundown.
Well, I mean, I don't even know where to freaking begin. One of the things that he did right after this movie was composing the main theme for the 1991 TV show of The Flash. That lasted for one season that had Mark Hamill show up as the Trickster, which was just kind of a prototype of the Joker.
Yeah.
But the amount of superhero things, I'm trying to find like kind of if there's a conglomerated list. I realized I didn't put that together. But yeah, we had Batman, We had The Flash. We had Batman Returns, of course. Come on, with this freaking thing load. Let's see here. We had Dick Tracy, Darkman. Okay, Batman Returns. Mission Impossible. Not really a superhero thing, but it's close. Spy Kids, Spider-Man, Men in Black, The Hulk, Spider-Man 2, Arkham Asylum fan film, Hellboy 2, Wanted, Terminator Salvation, The Wolfman, Men in Black 3, Hancock.
He did one or
50
two
Shades of
MCU things
Grey?
also, right?
Yeah. He did the 50 Shades of Grey movies. But then
Didn't he do Age of Ultron?
he took over. I was about to mention he took over for Avengers: Age of Ultron, which is an absolute like his theme for the Avengers in that plays over the credits is possibly the best mix of Alan Silvestri's Avengers theme in all of the Avengers movies. Another thing that he did that a lot of people aren't necessarily going to agree with, but I actually think does deserve some note, is he did the musical mix for Joss Whedon's Justice League. And with that, okay, he was literally riffing together his own music, John Williams' music, Junkie XL's music,
Okay.
and Hans Zimmer's music.
Was that him walking on the rooftop there? Was that like a little bit of animated? Like, what was that? The
That was compositing. That was
weird compositing
over a
there.
minute.
Obviously, a matte painting with some moving elements with the traffic, but the compositing was so rough in that little scene. Like, it looked like a janky drawing.
Yeah, there was an episode of Corridor Crew that went over the miniatures that were used in this movie and the next one that were, they had some really impressive miniatures. That they
A ton of the
used
work in this
throughout
movie is
thing.
really good.
But they did point out that first compositing shot is pretty rough.
Yeah, I mean that almost to me looks like a previs shot.
Yeah.
Now this is interesting. So this is like right away. this opening, like this is your introduction to the character.
Mhm.
I think this is a pretty weak introduction to the character.
I get that. By product
It's-
of its time, as we
it
talked
is.
about.
It's
You
stiff.
have to understand that the majority of people in the world didn't read Batman comics. There was, the darker tone of the Bronze Age from the 80s was vaguely known about, but for the most part, most people's memories of Batman were Adam West's 1966 goofy, campy, over-the-top Batman. This was the serious, grim, dark, dirty horror Batman. And so this is very kind of shocking to a lot of audiences.
Oh yeah, I mean I get the theme that it's going for, and it definitely establishes him as a scarier character. It's just
Almost like a horror creature.
It is, but it's like it's stiff. He's very theatrical, right? He keeps raising his arms, kind of creating his profile. Almost had Nike sponsored bat uniform there.
No, they were Nikes.
I mean, they were, but I'm saying like, I mean, they were people pushing for it to be more obvious. It was like it's not that kind of a movie. That's one thing I'll give Tim Burton credit for, is saying like, I'm not making that kind of movie.
Yeah.
But it's that's also one of the few times where he actually, kind of unfolds a traditional batarang and throws it, with the tether. Because this movie, I think it was Caravan of Garbage. They might have said this first, but this movie was kind of the beginning of what we take for granted now with the grapple, like the gas powered grapple, which is a staple at this point. But I don't think it really had shown up a whole lot before this film.
That is correct.
Yeah. Now here we have, Lando Calrissian himself, Billy D. Williams.
Playing the character of Harvey Dent.
Yep.
Which is just like they were going to bring him back as Two-Face, but they never did. And he was going to be a villain in Batman Returns when they didn't know if they were going to have Burton back. And he did end up going on to play Two-Face again in specifically the Lego Batman movie.
So this, okay, you've I'm not sure if we've talked about this. You've never been like a big Nicholson fan, right? Like, I mean, not that you have anything against him, I don't think, but you just like he's just not one of those movie stars that you've really cared about much in your life, right?
I think this is the only Jack Nicholson movie I've ever seen twice.
Really?
Well,
Is
I
he-
mean,
Go
the
ahead.
type of stuff that he acts in is the type of stuff that I have zero interest in. I can accept how good The Departed is on paper. That movie is so stinking annoying. At 450 F words, almost 1/6 of the script. It's like it's nonsense.
Yeah.
And he's amazing in it and stuff like that. But like looking at his filmography, there's nothing in here I care about. Am I gonna go watching Easy Rider or Carnal Knowledge or Chinatown?
Chinatown is amazing, by the way.
The Shining. I've seen The Shining and it wasn't that interesting to me. I can accept why it's so good. I didn't like it.
Yeah. He
Mars Attacks. Okay, you know what? Mars Attacks. I'll watch Mars Attacks.
he's one of those actors who it's like hard to put into words how big of an actor he was at this point, like just how huge he was. And he is a genuinely fantastic actor. He's also not the nicest guy in real life. What's interesting is I think there is obviously it's a much bigger role in this, but similar to getting Brando for Jarrell in Superman, to get having not your main character be top billing was
And the stuff that they did to get
they pissed
to
Robin
get
Williams
him-
off.
Yeah, yeah. When Jack Nicholson was, for those of you who don't know, when Jack Nicholson was hesitant to take this role, okay, they went to Robin Williams and said, "Oh, Jack Nicholson doesn't want to do this," and he's like, "Oh, I'm interested." And they almost had Robin Williams step in and be the Joker, but that was never actually the plan. They then went to Jack Nicholson and said, "Hey, Robin Williams is actually wants this instead." And is negotiating an even better monetary deal. So then Jack Nicholson was like, fine, I'll take it. And it was all just a giant trick to get Jack Nicholson. And God, what a wasted opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, Jack Nicholson, like, he got we talk about Robert Downey Jr.'s deal, moving forward in the MCU. I mean, which is obviously huge. This was kind of an early example of somebody who just made out like a bandit. I mean, nobody made more money than Jack Nicholson off this film because he even negotiated like a chunk of the like the marketing, even not the marketing, the merchandising. It's estimated somewhere between like anywhere from like $40 to $90 million he pulled out of this film.
Yep, he still gets residuals for it.
Yeah, and I mean, and even like things like controlling the scheduling, he had it, in his contract, he couldn't miss a Lakers home game, like, that kind of stuff. He had that kind of power. And, man, I don't think that his performance is as good as some people give it credit for, even though I think that it's fine. I want the version of this movie where they got William Dafoe to play the Joker.
Everybody goes for Willem Dafoe as the Joker, and I get it. I get it. I really do. But back then probably a little better.
I mean, the thing is, it would have been a big deal back then. I mean, we think about it, now in the hindsight of Green Goblin and how many times he's played, but at this point, it would have been a very interesting choice, and it would have fit the look. So I would be more interested in that performance than what Jack Nicholson does with his character.
Yeah. And then we have his little like friend here in the background.
Who's like his real life friend who he got the role.
Yeah. He helped get him in there. They were actual friends in real life. His name is Bob the Goon. And all of these people are credited as goons, which has I didn't know this for a while, but that has a new definition in modern terminology.
Oh, it does.
That's considered very awkward.
Yes.
Bunch of freaking weirdos.
It's so it's unfortunate because goon is such a great name for like a villain who's like a villain's henchmen who are also kind of useless. It's unfortunate that it got changed to what it is now, which is a much more not safe for work term.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, it's a new term for masturbation.
Yeah.
So anyway,
But,
what we have here is you. One of the things that is very different from Superman as to this one is that this feels more almost like Predator 2 in the way that it's like dirty.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Well,
Superman had that kind of like lived-in feel, but this feels smoky and
yeah.
like sweaty.
This,
Sweaty
and I
things.
forget if it was the production designer or who it was in an interview that I was reading about that wanted the city to be ugly. They wanted the city to be just like they described it as, what if New York didn't have any kind of city planning but grew at the same rate? Like, what would it, like, just the monstrosity it could potentially turn into? That's kind of what they were going for here. And on one hand,
And that's
I love it.
lasted in a lot of Batman design.
Yeah. I also just, it's a city that has a lot of character, and I also just, I don't like looking at it. It's just, it is.
Yeah.
It's very distinct, and I mean, I'll give it that, unlike, actually, I think in Batman Begin, Gotham has a nice character to it. When we get to those films, it'll be interesting. I think that in Dark Knight and then Rises, they kind of neuter Gotham of all of its character. Because Gotham should be
in Batman Begins, it was a unique city. In The Dark Knight, it was literally just Chicago.
Yeah.
And in The Dark Knight Rises,
So
it was
boring.
literally just New York.
Yeah. Now, Vicky Vale, was she?
Yeah,
I mean, I know Vicky Vale from the Arkham games, but that's like my only knowledge of her outside of this film. Was she an established Batman like comic book character before this?
Oh yes, she's actually one of his very old love interests. She's been around since 1949.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they originally wanted, what was her name? She was in Blade Runner. She was the main opposite Harrison Ford, and she was going to be in it, but she like got hurt or something, I think.
That's correct. In fact, she got hurt in a Sean Young, by the way. Her name's
Sean Young. Okay, I feel bad. I read
we
that.
also saw. Well, I mean, she was Chani in the 1984 Dune.
That's right. That's right.
Which our first movie that we did.
Yeah.
But she was hurt rehearsing a stunt that didn't even end up in the movie because it was during the daytime and it had the bat costume, and they realized that the bat costume looked terrible in daylight. So they cut the entire scene. So she kind of got hurt rehearsing for nothing. And it's kind of a bummer. But supposedly it also involved the fact that the director here, who we haven't talked about at all yet, didn't like her. So much so that she wanted to be Catwoman in Returns instead when that was casting. And she showed up to his office dressed as Catwoman to be like, I can be in this part. And he like hid from her. Supposedly he hid underneath his desk and like eventually called security.
Wow. I heard that she showed up. I did not hear that he hid. So, well, it's interesting because, her connection to Blade Runner, I also read that when they were, the production design of this film, they specifically like, do not look at Blade Runner. Like, we don't want any of that influence. It's so funny too, that specifically like not wanting neon and where this series kind of ended up going, which is, I find so ironic considering where it started with the visual aesthetic.
Yeah. Well, it was literally the exact opposite between Batman Forever and Batman Returns with the Blade Runner influence. They're like, we don't want any Blade Runner influence in this. And then, boom, we actually want a lot of Blade Runner influence in this. And Blade Runner has been very, very influential on Batman over the years. Yeah.
But, we want to talk about Tim Burton and kind of his road to this film a little bit, because this movie was in development for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Dude, and he was attached to it for a while, but they like wouldn't commit to him until like Beetlejuice like actually was success. And I mean, there was so much behind the scenes drama between him and Michael Keaton, both just being very controversial picks for this film.
Oh yeah. Well, Michael Keaton was an exceptionally controversial pick because
Mr. Mom.
He was known specifically for comedy. And so a whole lot of people were annoyed. And,
I love that scene. It's just the idea that he tips him. Alfred's mannerisms are... Sorry, I totally interrupted you. Alfred
this Alfred is great.
He's so good. This Alfred,
Yeah.
other than he does violate one massive rule we'll get to later, but he as an actor just playing a lovable Alfred is so good.
Yeah. I forgot what I was saying.
Well, we're talking about Michael Keaton, and here we go. This is our first shot of Michael Keaton outside of the suit. And actually, as much as
she's looking for Bruce Wayne, doesn't know what he looks like.
Yeah, well, which is like, it seems so unbelievable. She's a photographer. She wouldn't know what Bruce Wayne looks like.
Yeah.
I actually see that. It seems a little bit odd. I mean, this whole sequence too, just Alfred following him around, just like pen and the cup here in a second on the edge of the craps table, and I really like Michael Keaton as an actor. I think that he is a phenomenally talented actor who's been in a lot of really good movies. I like him as Batman. I don't love him as Bruce Wayne.
You see, I think that he's one of the more balanced between the two. I'm not saying that it's perfect, but it's one of the more balanced.
Yeah,
Did you know that there was actually an idea to make this movie back in the day? Ivan Reitman and Joe Dante.
I heard about this.
Ivan Reitman, director of frickin' Ghostbusters, and Joe Dante, the director of Gremlins. Reitman wanted to cast Bill Murray as Batman and Eddie Murphy as Robin.
Oh my gosh.
Carl Urban and Sam Raimi both pitched Batman movies in the early 80s. They really wanted to do it.
I mean,
there was an idea going around. I'm sorry?
Carl Urban? The Australian actor?
Wes Craven?
You said Carl Urban.
I said Wes Craven.
No, you absolutely said Carl Urban. But anyways, Wes Craven. I'm like, Carl Urban, I don't think he was really involved in Hollywood in the 80s.
That's weird. I don't even... His name's not even up here. I don't know why I would say that. Sorry about that.
That's weird.
But
That's weird.
he actually was considered for Batman at one point, but they didn't think he had the right look in his face.
Man, Dredd showed that his chin works.
His chin does work, but his lips would be very identifiable.
Yes. Anyways, go ahead.
There
Wes
was
Craven.
an idea for a 1985 Batman movie that was like similar in the way that they almost filmed a Superman movie with Brendan Fraser as Superman. You can even go find pictures of him in the suit. Very similar to Nicolas Cage, actually. There was a version of Batman that they were working on that straight up had Harrison Ford being courted and very interested in playing Batman. By the time this movie came around, he was too expensive.
Yeah. And it's... I know that pretty much every big name in Hollywood at the time was considered and thrown around. All your Harrisons and your Mel Gibsons and my brain is not working. Pretty much all your hot actors. The thing is with Michael Keaton, it's so odd because we have the idea of Bruce Wayne as being just this incredibly confident, driven man, and it's just odd because there's little glimpses of that, but in this movie he's a little more hesitant. He's a little bit more just kind of like the way that he kind of gets infatuated with Vicky Vale right away. And this is where my bias of the versions of Bruce Wayne that I'm more familiar with absolutely show through. I'm sure there's versions of this in the comics that work, but I'm so accustomed to a more modern take on Bruce Wayne, where he is just this kind of tortured soul who carries the weight of what happened to his parents, on his shoulders all the time, and that this is a facade, and that this was a much more relaxed, like you said, balance is a good way of putting it, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just it's not what I'm used to, and it's not what I have come to like really expect for Bruce Wayne. So it's not that I'm sure Keaton's doing exactly what Tim Burton asked him to do and doing it good. It's just it's so out of step with what I'm used to with Bruce Wayne. Does that make sense?
It does, because I agree that it is a different version of Bruce Wayne, but there's been so many different versions that I'm like, okay, what is it that I like about this version, and what is it that I dislike about this version?
His hair.
I like that he's slightly. I don't like his hair. I like that he's slightly erratic, like what you just saw there with him, just like walking up behind them and being like, "Oh, it's because I bought it," and he has that little like smarmy grin, and he's sitting there and he's making
enjoys a little
bit
of gotcha.
Reporter guy. Yeah, he enjoys the gotcha, and then you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Like, I actually do like that. I like the idea that the Bruce Wayne persona that he puts out to the public allows the real Bruce to be a little bit of a goober that he probably would be if he wasn't so traumatized by his like obsessive compulsive disorder, because a lot of modern Batman has him as having obsessive compulsive disorder. Um, and like this ultra serious kind of grim self that he can't get away from, and that if his parents had survived, he probably would be, this driven genius physical prodigy still, but he'd be a little bit more of a goober about it. He'd be a little
Probably.
bit more fun loving and relaxed. And in my ideal version of Batman, because one of the things that we talked about a couple times on this show, and that I'm going to be talking about quite a bit here, and I'm so sorry to derail this whole thing.
No, that's right.
Batman should be a TV show.
We got a
that
bunch of these coming up,
follows-
so I'm sure this will come up more than once.
Batman should be a TV show, not just these big blockbuster movies. I get it. They make hundreds of $1 million. I understand why they do it this way, but it should be a TV show. And they need to have Bruce Wayne be a really fully three-dimensional character who's so much more than just brooding darkness like Robert Pattinson's. The closest that we get is Batman Begins. And, does a really good job with that. And also showing the real Bruce Wayne while he's at home, while he's not putting on a show, still having a bit of fun, being a little bit of a pest, and this kind of Michael Keaton-esque goober. That's the best way that I can put it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I remember reading this one comic that was a little bit serious. It had him being kind of grim, but at the same time, it had him like, there's this thing that's going on that some of the other Justice League are really annoyed at and having problems with. It's almost like somebody pulled a prank, and it turned out that it was Batman. But nobody suspects Batman because they would never expect it to be Batman.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's another joke in the thing where they're just like looking at his computer, and he has like a phone interface on his computer, so he doesn't have to look at his phone when it's on his computer. So like, who keeps sending you cat videos? And he's just like, ignore that. Like, just this little idea that Catwoman is constantly sending him cat videos, and they're not blocked or anything. He watches them.
Yeah. Well, that's where I
love that kind of thing.
One of my favorite, as much as the animated series gets a lot of love for good reason, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, the Batman specifically in the Justice League cartoons, I really like because, and they didn't overdo it, but there's some great episodes in both the original Justice League and the Unlimited Justice League where he has some interactions with Wonder Woman. He has some interactions with Zatanna, with Superman, with Hawk. Like little bits of Zatanna, sorry. But you know what I mean? Like little, and they definitely don't overdo it, but little bits of character stuff here and there that showcase what you're talking about, where he's got a little bit of sense of humor. He's got a little bit of a mischievous side.
There's that thing with because Wonder Woman and Batman famously are an on again, off again couple in some eras of Batman comics. And that was mentioned in one of the Justice League cartoons. And she's just like, come on, Bruce. It's not even a thought. He's just like, you're this descendant of a goddess Amazonian queen. It's like, I am a rich kid with issues.
With issues.
Lots and lots of issues.
Well, that one
just
and
the deadpan delivery.
Yeah. Well, I mean that I love. Do you remember the episode where he ends up like singing at the end of it, like serenading? I think it's an episode where
it's like a magical contract.
Yeah.
he ends up having to do karaoke.
Is that the one where Wonder Woman becomes a pig for most of it?
I don't.
He's like running away. Anyways, but yeah, sorry, we're like talking over like this whole like literally we're about to see the origin for Joker in this movie. Batman is a story is a character with so many iterations, and so many good ones. Honestly, like he's got way more great iterations than bad ones. I mean, and which is saying something in the modern world. But this movie, we brought this up briefly. This movie changes
Absolute
so
Batman
many things.
Can go to hell.
What's that?
Absolute Batman can go to hell.
Okay.
That's one of the current iterations of Batman that's running, and I hate it viscerally.
Well, I don't know anything about it, but I get what Burton was going for here, but having for so long, Joker's origin was very mysterious, kind of abstract. I do love this movie. By the way, it gets the benefit of you don't have to get rid of the wire when he's coming down because no, he's using his grappling cable, so you don't have to CG. You know, you don't have to find a way to get rid of the wire for the stunt guy.
Yeah.
But he
Okay, so one of the things about this movie that just bugs the crap out of me, the cowl is so thick. Like
it's
you can
thick
see,
and,
like,
and
a
it's
quarter
not
inch of rubber.
it's not super tight either. Like, you know, it kind of flexes around like his cheekbones and stuff.
You see, I don't mind that so much as it looking super just uncomfortable and impractical. It's one of the reasons why I love Robert Pattinson's Batsuit so much. That thing is sexy.
Yeah.
Best Batsuit on screen. Did you ever see The Flash?
The film from like a couple years back?
Yeah.
I've seen clips of it. I've never watched the whole thing, no.
So they bring back Michael Keaton's Batman, and they have him in this suit moving so fast and so fluid, it doesn't look right.
Yeah, because
His scenes actually in that movie are really good.
Yeah.
There are two movies after Batman Returns where Michael Keaton returned. One of them is The Flash. The other one is the canceled, nearly finished Batgirl movie that was also starring J.K. Simmons and Brendan Fraser. That still is just sitting in their vault that they decided to cancel for a tax write-off because they knew that they were going to be rebooting the universe.
Well, and J.K. Simmons was a really good Commissioner Gordon. I wish we'd gotten more of that version.
Oh, yeah.
He's such a good actor.
There are two perfect Commissioner Gordons. Now, I believe that they're a little bit too old to be Commissioner Gordons, but back in like 10, 15 years ago, two absolutely perfect Commissioner Gordon castings would be J.K. Simmons, who was in the Snyderverse, and oh my gosh, his name, Bryan Cranston.
Bright, yeah, he's too old now, but he would have been fantastic.
I mean, he wanted to be Gordon. He campaigned for it, but he was actually busy due to finishing up Breaking Bad, and he actually voiced Gordon in a couple of animated movies.
Yeah, I did actually really like I'm blanking on his name.
Gary Oldman?
No.
Oh, from the Batman, the black guy?
No, from BVS, and he's such a famous actor.
Are we talking about Commissioner Gordon?
Yeah, no, sorry. I'm so sorry. I jumped to Alfred in my mind. I did not mean to do that.
Oh, Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons was a great Alfred. In that more, I'm like a former SAS guy, you know, Alfred.
Oh, yeah. No, there hasn't been a bad Alfred so far. Like, that's one of the things about the Batman movies that has been consistently consistent, I guess.
Consistently consistent.
Consistently consistent is that there has not been a bad on-screen Alfred. Even in the show Gotham, okay, the actor who plays Alfred, I'd have to look him up here, is fantastic.
This whole scene, by the way, they do get a few genuinely funny moments. Like this one, they let it go on just long enough to be actually, you know, like work. Because it's also like not like I think there's an animated episode where they do something like this, and the table is way longer than this. Like this table is not actually like that long. Like you wouldn't have to yell at each other in an empty room, but it also works well just to shoot it and you know just have the comedy here.
Well, apparently a lot of this gag was Michael Keaton's idea. One of the reasons why Bruce Wayne is a little bit of a goober in this thing is because of Michael Keaton. They had him written as a lot more of a tortured soul, but Michael Keaton can't get away from his comedy roots.
Yeah, and he does have fantastic comedic timing. He is a very gifted comedic actor, and they definitely I think get. I mean, we're doing. So everybody's curious. We're doing Batman Returns right away to get the two of these together because they go hand in hand, and then we will this year be doing Forever and Batman and Robin. But he definitely, if memory serves, it's been a while since I watched Returns, and I'll watch it this coming week before we record it again. They definitely go darker there, right? Like he's not as they get a little more of that tortured soul-esque out of him in the second movie, I believe.
I wouldn't describe it that way.
Compared to this?
Because the fact is Batman Returns is barely even a Batman movie. Batman Returns is a freaking
It's a
what
Danny
do
DeVito
you
movie.
call it? It's a Danny DeVito movie. Tim Burton didn't want to make another Batman movie. He wanted to make a weird, goofy movie about an ugly troll of a man who lives in the sewers, who falls in love and has weirdly erotic encounters with a woman dressed as a cat. That's the movie he wanted to make.
He
And
managed to somehow
Batman
do
just
that.
happened to be in it. Like, Batman doesn't appear for like 20 minutes in that movie.
Yeah. Why is it so difficult, it seems like, to make Batman the star of his own
Studio
movies?
interference. Because a lot of people don't see him as a super three-dimensional character. They see him as a lot more of a caricature. This is my opinion, and there's a couple of interviews with writers and directors who seem to kind of agree. In that Batman is a hard character for people to relate to because he essentially has to be a god, but not a god in the way that like Wonder Woman or Superman is, where they're cursed with this power, or not cursed, but they have this power and they're trying to be
Burdened.
human and want to use it to relate downward. This is the peak of human condition, mentally and physically. This is like making a movie about Stephen Hawking if Stephen Hawking also had Arnold Schwarzenegger's body. He's very difficult to relate to because his problems are so strange. And so it's difficult to make a character arc for a character like Batman in his own movies, which is why the origin story is such an attractive thing for people to go towards for Batman, because that's his period of growth.
Yeah.
And that's also one of the reasons why I think a TV show would be a way better thing. You have more time. You can actually make it about his apprentices, like Robins and
Yeah.
Batgirls,
Well,
and all
that's
of
the
the
thing is,
surrounding characters.
I would immediately say the solution to that is Batman. You put him with good characters, but you make it about what his journey through the Robins is amazing. The relationship he has with Selena Kyle can be done really well. And I actually, as much as I am very frustrated with how quickly Warner Brothers moved ahead with BVS and everything, Batman and Superman are actually a fantastic pairing, because when you put them together, you end up with such interesting opposing worldviews, and when you have them arrive at a begrudging respect for each other, there's some fantastic storytelling you can do there. So, like, Batman is very good, but yeah, to give him growth, you have to put him with somebody. You when he's left to himself, he doesn't really grow much as a character.
No. Like, the closest that we get that's not an origin story is Batman versus Superman and The Dark Knight Rises. There's a lot of character development there, but people don't necessarily like the character development in The Dark Knight Rises. People don't necessarily like the character development in Batman versus Superman, even though I actually think it's not too bad.
No, it's his development's
people
not
give
that
it more
bad.
flack than they do green.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should be talking about this movie a little bit more, because this actor right here, who plays this mob boss that what's his face is about to knock off. Okay, it's just he's Grissom, right?
Yeah, Grissom something.
Grissom.
He was made up for this movie, right?
Yeah, he was. Jack Palance, who the actor plays. This guy was like a this was Curly in frickin' City Slickers, right?
Yeah,
he's
a fairly famous actor at the time.
Yeah, he took himself really seriously. And supposedly there was some problems on set because he kept being like over the top and goofy, and he's just like, it's a comic book movie, nobody's gonna care. And Tim Burton's trying to make a movie that's a little bit more grounded and serious, and this guy's acting like he's in the 1966 Batman. And it took a long time to get him to like do the right takes because he kept being such a ham. Yeah.
So
this is a good reveal. The character slowly walking over out of the shadows with the monologue, barely able to see him. The reveal of Raul Silva from Skyfall was based on this scene.
That makes sense. Yeah, because this you can see kind of the white complexion, and you're getting more detail as we move forward. Yeah, it is good. Well, and what's interesting is this movie is shot. I think this movie is shot pretty well. I forget who the cinematographer is, but there's a lot of really good shots. There's a lot of really cool camera angles. Just the the
Tim
way it
Burton's a
looks.
very good director.
Yeah, especially with
Not my
people.
type.
I think the model work in the city is a mixed bag, in my opinion. I think there's some stuff that's amazing, some stuff that's not great, but almost everything with people is really well done. Okay.
So let's talk about the Joker.
Yeah, go ahead. But I was just going to say, not just the Joker, but this version of the Joker. Which now this was somewhat, at least they claimed this was somewhat inspired by parts of Under the Red Hood, right?
Under the Red Hood.
Yeah, I think it's because
Under the Red Hood wasn't written for another 20 years.
no, okay, maybe it's just Red Hood. There was there was an older one of the possible origins of
Oh,
Joker.
just like him. Yes. So
him as
there was a
I think the
character-
original Red Hood, right? Wasn't that one of the?
Yes, one of the many backstories of the Joker is that he was, just seen as a faceless D-level villain who was robbing banks as a fancy Mater D type character with a red cape and a red hood, and that was his persona. Batman chased him into a chemical factory. He ended up trying to escape, fell into a vat. Batman thought he was dead, and he ended up emerging mutated and became the Joker. That's been the backstory of the Joker for a long time. Him being Jack Napier like this pops up in the comics every now and again. At one time, they tried to make a backstory that was not received well, where there were actually 3 different Jokers, and Batman all thought they were the same person throughout time, but there were actually 3 different ones with 3 different origins. But mostly they keep his backstory murky. In some, he's a comedian who failed and had to turn to crime. And some, he's a mobster like this. But there's no set backstory, kind of on purpose.
Which I like. I like him being mysterious.
One of the most common things is that he was a low-level gangster who took on the persona of the Red Hood and accidentally fell into a vat of acid of some kind that turned him into the white-skinned crazy Joker that we know today. And that's seen very prominently in 2016's Suicide Squad, where it shows Jared Leto's Joker subjecting Margot Robbie's Dr. Harleen Quinzel to the same process in order to turn her into Harley Quinn.
Yeah. And I like kind of the tall tale approach to Joker, where there are like multiple origin stories and you're not really sure which one is true. Like I think that actually works.
Didn't just start with Heath Ledger's Joker. That was a thing from the comics.
Oh yeah. That's, I mean, the idea that even in the comics, when they might have shown it, like they're giving you, oh no, here's the act. Like no, this is maybe just another possibility. I think that's interesting because Joker. Now, and this is where I would say, I'm not saying this movie nailed how they did it, but I get what they're going for, and we haven't gotten here yet, but we'll get there pretty quickly. The idea that basically Joker and the Batman unintentionally make each other. Mm-hmm. The whole instantly feigning thing.
I don't dislike that either.
I get it. I don't
like that they make him the one where he's the freaking guy who killed his parents. That's one of the really just canon breaking upsetting things.
Well, that's what I'm talking about though, is the idea that he unintentionally created Batman and then Batman created him, I like the idea of them being kind of the natural products of each other essentially, but I really I'm assuming that you do also. I really dislike the idea that he's the one who actually killed Bruce Wayne's parents.
In fact, one of the ways that I actually like what they did in a way that they can do that to make it like, ooh, that's really interesting, was done in 2019's Joker, which we've already covered. In that the Joker started what they refer to as the Joker riots, and during the Joker riots, Thug decides to take advantage of this fleeing rich couple and corner them in an alley and ends up killing them. And then, later on, in a different universe, whatever, Batman ends up creating Joker. Like, one creates the other.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Like, somehow the Joker is, before he's turned, ends up being responsible in a way for what happened to the Waynes is interesting. But one of the core tenets of Batman is that it was just a random hit It was just a random act of crime by somebody who wasn't necessarily looking to do evil. Joe Chill, they end up turning him into a sympathetic character in a lot of versions.
Yeah, I
Um,
actually I liked the Joe Chill in Batman Begins. Like I liked what they did
mhm,
with him in that film of just the courtroom scene with him. I actually
mhm.
thought was good, and
Yeah.
just that.
One of the really good versions is actually the Arkham Joe Chill, which is seen in the VR game that they came out with a few years ago,
Mm,
Arkham Shadow.
yeah, I heard about that but never
And
played it.
oh, really good, because one of the things is that you're Bruce Wayne and you end up getting arrested and you're stuck in Arkham Asylum. And one of the people that you end up becoming friends with or encountering is this old guy who's tottering around giving out books, very much based on the old man Brooks from Shawshank Redemption, but it's Joe Chill. And Bruce Wayne is confronted with this nice man who has really grown and worked towards being rehabilitated in prison, who's also the man who killed his parents. It was well done. Oh, the buzzer.
Yeah, this is one of those like I get. It's. Can you imagine what this would smell like if this actually happened? But
Crispy.
it's over the top, but in a way that fits with this movie.
For those of you who don't know, this is a scene where the Joker uses a hand buzzer to murder a man, turns him into a crisp.
Yeah.
Like crispy, crispy, crispy. And it's goofy, it's over the top, it doesn't quite fit with the movie in a lot of ways, but it's so quintessential Joker.
Oh yeah.
This is something that any version of the Joker would do. And laugh all the way home.
Oh yeah. He finds it hilarious that he killed somebody. This, I mean, I both like this version of the Joker because he is, just maniacal.
He's maniacal.
I think that Jack Nicholson actually has a pretty decent laugh. I mean, it's no Mark Hamill laugh, but it's pretty good. And it's, I think that it's, I struggle, and this is where getting somebody like Jack Nicholson to play him is a challenge, because even at the time, it was just that's Jack Nicholson playing the Joker. It always had a little bit of that with me, and it was like a good performance where he's got the makeup on and he's really trying. Like I don't think anybody can accuse Jack Nicholson of phoning this in. I think that he genuinely gave it a lot. But it still is just always been in my mind ever since I was a kid. It's been Jack Nicholson, the famous movie star, playing the Joker.
Do you have any actor out there that you're like, I want to see that guy play the Joker?
Well, I mean, you already poo-pooed my idea, man. I think back in this time, because he was a very niche actor. Most people, if you had asked me in the late 80s who William Dafoe was, I would have had no idea. And that's where I think in 89 he would have been fantastic, because I just would have seen this creepy, amazingly talented actor play this character, and I would have had no idea who he was. And I think it would be infamous now, but at the time I think it would have worked immensely well.
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree. I just get annoyed by how obsessed so many people are about.
It's because of the shape
Willem
of his
Dafoe should have been playing the Joker, and I get it. I have there's certain people that I'll see and I'll just be like, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched the show New Girl?
I've seen it. It's been a long time. Who are you thinking of?
There's a character on there named Schmidt.
Oh.
And the actor's name is Max Greenfield, and he only really does comedy. So I can't sit here and say, oh, I'm sure that he could do great creepy or dramatic. But there's certain scenes in that show where he comes across in this way that I'm like, he could be so intense and creepy. And he's got the face. He's got the smile. He's got the laugh. I want to see this man as the Joker so stinking bad.
I wish that
just a mock-up or something,
Yeah. So I'm really quickly looking, and this is where I'm not great at just immediately. Okay, back then, I think a young unknown Guy Pearce could have done a really interesting Joker.
Mm.
As far as today, I actually think that as far as face shape, like Bill Skarsgård could do an interesting Joker.
Bill Skarsgård would be pretty good,
Um,
but he's almost a little bit typecast as a clown, isn't he?
you're not wrong. So he's been in DC. What's his name? He played Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad.
Oh,
Is
David
something?
Dastmalchian?
Yeah, he definitely could have done interesting. Okay, so here's. I wish I could take credit for this, but I just saw this on a list, and I'm like, dang it, he could, especially younger. Alan Tudyk.
Oh, Alan Tudyk would be interesting.
He's got an interesting face. He definitely could match, the series, the very creepy but very funny. I would love to. He's such a talented voice actor. I would have loved to have seen, like his Joker laugh.
Yeah, I could see that. Oh,
Okay,
man.
this must have been like. This is such an odd little. If that wasn't poisoned, that wouldn't have killed him, right?
I mean, it does hit him in the jugular. But, like, this scene, I like the way that they present Joker. This is actually a version of the Joker that I really like. Because it's the kind of, like, goofy clown gentleman Joker. I like in the top hat with the tails and everything. There's a couple of versions of that I think are really good. And that's the type that we don't really see these days. And he's only that way in kind of this scene.
So, okay, this is one of the scenes where I don't like Bruce Wayne in this scene. That he's like...
Because he just stands there like a schlub?
Yeah. This weird, like, he's just kind of caught off guard, not really sure. He's just like, what? Like, they actually have, like, the squib go off that shows, like, he, like, has a bullet go through, like, the sleeve of his jacket. It's just a weird, like... This isn't Bruce Wayne. This isn't, like, the man who could take on the, just... And I... this isn't an origin story, but this is supposed to be fairly early, obviously, in Bruce Wayne's career.
Yeah. Yeah, Bruce Wayne's fight or flight reflex is not to freeze. Okay?
Yeah, definitely not. This town needs an enema.
Though.
What a line.
That line is so great.
Oh, man. The whole, like, glass of water. I mean, it's a tiny little moment there, but just showcasing that Alfred just already knows. Something as simple as that, and the bookshelves behind him.
Right? It's probably all cardboard or something.
I'm sure. Why don't you marry her? Oh, man. Okay. I know we're not there yet, but I love this Alfred so much. The fact that he lets Vicky Vale into the Batcave is one of the things that I know a lot of people have a problem with, but I'm one of those people. It's a weird choice for him.
Yeah, there's very few people that... Because one of the things about Alfred that's pretty much been around since the beginning... I mean, the very earliest versions of Alfred are weird. The thing that really solidified Alfred as a mainstay was actually the 1966 TV show. Like, Alfred was present, but he was a little bit of like a bumbling fat moron for many years. It wasn't until later that he became like this really debonair, even potentially dangerous former SAS super butler. That it was after like the 1966 show. But he was always kind of an inside joke of that, like, he knows that if Batman is exposed, he goes down too, because he is utterly complicit in all of it. In some versions, he's even one of the instigators of like, dude, do it. The government sucks. Cops can't be trusted. Let's do it ourselves. And so for him to compromise that secret is such a big breach of the character. It'd be like you're writing a Star Trek and you just have a scene where Spock bursts out laughing for some reason.
Interesting that they did take the time to kind of show the research sitting on the table there of the nerve gas, and that he didn't just come up with this himself. He basically went out and found something.
Well, there was apparently a little bit more to the script that was heavily implying, or not heavily implying, that was one of the reasons why they were even at the chemical plant, is that Jack Napier, this version of the Joker, actually had a background in chemistry, and that he himself is actually like a chemist. So there was going to be a little bit of that.
Oh, this is very much this whole like cutting up, cutting out pictures and kind of creating this was such a thing back then. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
It was just this way of showing like just craziness. I think part of that comes from like the Zodiac killer.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it's
so
done so
prevalent.
many times too by like making your dream board or your vision board or whatever. Like it's also like
I hate those.
weirdly tied into this idea of being very driven and focused. It's like, no, it's just kind of creepy in my mind. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
anybody listening to this that likes that.
It's an aesthetic choice. It's a TikTok thing these days.
Yeah,
My vision board for this year.
I do love in the Ace Chemicals building, like the big windows, like the curved windows, like on the two sides. It's just very it's cool. this whole plot, this to me is very like, this is a Joker plot, I think, pretty well, right? The idea of
Yeah.
secretly poisoning like a big chunk of the city, letting somebody like die very publicly, like on the news like this. This actually is a pretty good Joker plan, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely. And this is classic Joker stuff. And this is this type of thing that was done before, and this movie helped kind of carry it on after, even into the Arkham games. Do you remember the whole thing in Arkham Knight? No, Arkham City, where like he sends a bunch of his infected blood out to
Yep.
hospitals, so that way Batman has to find a cure for his disease,
Yeah.
or else a whole bunch of innocent people are going to die.
Well, that, and he gives part of his infected blood like to Batman. Yeah.
And into a couple of other people, because they end up creating the plot line where it's like a genetic rewriting thing that starts turning people into the Joker who have the blood inside of them, which is stupid in some ways, but it also like makes for some fun plot stuff.
Yeah. This poor news anchor, this woman, you like, oh, she gets that quintessential feet straight up in the air as she falls back.
Right? It's perfect take. And it's like, it's right for the tone of this movie, where it's just like there is that element of slapstick.
Yeah. I also feel like Joker taking over like a television broadcast is another one of those just like iconically Joker things to do.
Well, it's straight out of The Dark Knight Returns, which was a huge influence on this. For those of you who are unaware, The Dark Knight Returns is a graphic novel that was written in the mid 80s that kind of rewrote how Batman was done in comics. Huge amounts of plot from The Dark Knight Returns have appeared in The Dark Knight Rises, Batman versus Superman, especially elements of the movie Joker. It's where Batman is largely retired, and he comes out of retirement one last time, and it ends in a final confrontation with the Joker, who takes over a television studio and kills a whole bunch of people on air to kind of be like, Batman, I'm back.
Yep. Well, some of my favorite episodes, in animated form have some version of that going on. I mean, even where he's using Ace, make everybody crazy. That whole animated episode, was that in?
Oh yeah,
it was a good episode. Yeah. So he's had the whole the two-parter in Vegas with the Justice League. I mean, yeah, some of my favorite animated. I'm sure he did it in the animated series also. I'm just forgetting what episode it is, but yeah, it's just because Joker he's very theatrical, right? He loves an audience, and I mean, what better way to get an audience than to, get on TV and just really show off.
Yeah.
So
Reminds me a little bit of that V for Vendetta sequence where he takes over the television studio.
I love how haggard these anchors look. With like, apparently, if you have no makeup, you immediately get big zits, and just like a woman looks half dead without makeup. Like she can't even brush her hair without it.
Right.
It's just, I mean,
Because she doesn't have any shampoo either.
Yeah, it makes the point, but it's also just like, all right.
Yeah, the idea of him poisoning like makeup products like that, very Joker.
Oh yeah,
And that's one of the things they do really well in this movie is the Joker plans. This is absolutely stuff that Joker in especially Silver and Bronze Age comics would do.
I'm trying.
And for those of you unfamiliar with the terminology, the comic books kind of fall into specific periods. Golden Age is like the old original comic books when they first popped around into like the 1940s. And then there was the establishment of the Comics Code Authority, and where they were just like, oh, comics are degenerate and hurting children, and some of them were pretty creepy, and Wonder Woman was incredibly kinky. And then so they softened things up and made them a little bit more ridiculous and goofy, and that led to what they call the Silver Age. And that's when Batman was especially campy, and it led into the 1966 TV show with Adam West. And then the Bronze Age was especially like in the 80s, and it's where they started to get a little bit darker and a little bit more grunge. So there's your brief history of comic book terminology.
Nice. I honestly, like, I've had that explained to me more than once, and I still forget it sometimes.
Well, the official beginning of the Silver Age is often seen as the debut of the character of Barry Allen as the Flash, taking over for the character of I forgot his name. The original Flash.
Wally West?
No, that was the third Flash. Crap. What is
There
the
was
guy
a
before
Flash
Barry
before
Allen?
Barry Allen?
Yeah, the original Flash.
Oh, yeah.
The guy with the World War II hat. I know his name. Like 90% of the time, I know his name. In fact, when he appeared in the Flash TV show that with Grant Gustin, he was actually played by Wesley Shipp, who played the Flash in the 1991 TV show, The Flash. Jay Garrick.
I was almost there. Dang it. You beat me. Yeah, Jay Garrick.
I didn't even look it up. I remembered.
I love
Wow,
how colorful this mask is. Just, I don't know why. It hits me that, man, talk about just in time, right?
Right? It's just like.
Also, I love the idea that it's just like, just hold it. Like, no, don't put it around, like no elastic strap or anything. Just like, hope you got a good seal there, just pushing it against your face.
Right? This scene's just dark. People just dying into their food.
Oh, yeah. Nosediving into their spaghetti and cake. And of course, the little bit of the gas is a little purple, which is kind of,
Did you know that Alan Tudyk did actually play the Joker?
He must have voiced him, right, in an animated form?
Yes, in the Harley Quinn TV show with Kaylee Kuko.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You promised we'd all have electric cars by now. Where's my electric car, Bruce? Treating him like he's Elon Musk.
Now, here is definitely one of the
Joker.
most, of its time scenes because of the, intensely Prince song going on here. Prince, worked alongside with not worked with Danny Elfman, but like the other major musical contributor to this film. What's funny is there was a few songs he did for this movie. This is the only one that I ever remember because it's so prominent in this scene. But didn't he do like three different songs or something like that for this movie?
Yep, they just weren't able to put them all in for one reason or another. And I remember one of them was like test audiences didn't react well to it. But here's the thing. I didn't know that this was Prince. I didn't know anything about Prince's conglomeration collaboration with this movie until I was researching it for this.
Really?
I
always thought that was
I
like
know
a very
nothing about
famous,
Prince.
part of this movie was that Prince was like, because I mean he's one of those artists that there's nothing he's made that I've ever latched onto, but he's undeniably a massive star with a huge following. It's odd because he's one of the biggest artists that I've just never found a single song that I like, and that might be heresy to some people. I'm sorry.
No, I'm the same way because I've never really known anything about Prince. I've never paid attention to Prince. My parents didn't like Prince. The only thing I really remember him from is an episode of New Girl.
Okay, I love the boombox. By the way, there's just
I love the horseshoe mustache on this goon.
He's great. Just the oh man, this is a boombox so many people would have loved to have had. It was just it's great. Lighting the candles,
Gregarious.
It's so over the top. It's with the dead people around. I do like the creepiness of this whole thing. Like this is very, again, the parts of
That's
Joker that I
fantastic.
like. This movie nails. It's just that he's, this dead guy with his face in his dinner behind her, right, in all these shots. And of course, he loves her pictures of, like war and death and
War
suffering.
crimes.
And even like the jacket on his henchman back there has got like a classic kind of animated, like comic, face patch on his jacket, right?
Super Friends Joker.
His hat too. This freaking
What
hat.
the hell is that hat? Is it like a beret?
That that is a Sardaukar hat from the Dune miniseries, right?
My God, yes, the Dune miniseries.
It's absolutely what the Sardaukar wore in the Dune miniseries. I'm not crazy, right?
No, you're really not. But it's just I've always hated berets, and I've hated these like big, floppy, saggy ones. I'm sure there's a specific name for it.
There
They
are
look like
plenty
a
of guys.
chef's hat with erectile dysfunction.
There are some guys in uniform that I've seen in berets, and they pull it off.
Oh yeah.
This is not one of those instances.
No.
It's like,
This makeup though was so hard for them to do. Well, not particularly here, but later in when they show him removing this flesh toned makeup from his white makeup, they had to experiment with so many different ways to get that to work correctly.
Okay, so this I always found is interesting because when we like see her face here in a second, the woman that he was having an affair with behind his mob boss's back and ended up getting him set up to be killed. And well, I mean, not that it isn't tragic what happens to her, but I actually thought that the reveal would be more grotesque. Like, it's just like, okay, she's got a scar or whatever.
Mm.
But like, I'm not trying to belittle what she went through, obviously, as a character, but it's her, like the reaction is so over the top. I feel like I expected more when I first saw this.
Oh yeah, it's like the 2004 Phantom of the Opera, where he removes his mask to show his deformity, and it's like, you got some mottled pinkness there, bud. Like, there's nothing grotesque or horrific about it. You look like a normal dude with some wrinkly skin. But yeah, did you know that she was actually the basis of the character Harley Quinn? Like, they were looking at because of this movie, they were like, oh, well, he needs a weird, clowny, blonde sidekick, and they created the character of Harley Quinn for the animated show.
I do love that they gave him the acid flower there. This whole scene, just the whole like kind of Wizard of Oz spoof here, right? And just the makeup job here, like right there. He looks terrifying.
Yeah.
This entrance, though.
Yeah. Iconic. Like, literally, that is iconic.
Well, I mean, that was a trailer shot, right? I mean, because, there was a trailer, and I haven't watched that specific trailer in a long time. It was a big part of, like, getting people on board for this movie, right? That they rushed out for, I think, the Christmas before this came out. That quelled a lot of fears that, okay, no, this is not going to be... Oh, and that line... So where does he get these wonderful toys? That was in so many commercials for this movie. Like for the merch, they used that line. Like I feel like that line was written to sell merch for this movie.
Mm-hmm. The Batmobile.
From a purely visual design, I still don't think this Batmobile has ever been topped.
Oh, this is the best Batmobile. Like I like the Tumbler from Batman Begins. In fact, I really like it. I really like Ben Affleck's Batmobile.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad at all.
In Batman versus Superman. But my favorites by far are the 1989 Batmobile and the Batman souped up Mustang. Oh my goodness. These things are like built. This particular model, it's two Chevy Impala chassis that are spliced together. It had components of the Rolls Royce jet engine for that hood mount and intake, and it was supposed to be based after like a British Harrier fighter jet that they used for the turbine blades in the nose piece.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
It has these, and the tires on it are like special racing tires. They were literally looking around. They found a 1967 Chevy Impala in a London junkyard, and it had this like V8 Chevrolet like huge engine that was mounted low in the frame to maintain like a low hood line to keep it really sleek. And they were like, this is such a cool design. And then they started just like kit bashing it into what we see today. Also, beautiful stop motion.
Oh yeah,
what great stop motion effect.
Well, and just it's one of those details that I love too, because just the idea that he's not gonna let his car get nosed around at by the general public, and it's I mean it's because like this Batmobile and actually the animated series Batmobile are like my two favorite. Obviously they're very close together. Okay, his belt. Can we talk about his belt for a minute? They
Sure.
barely kind of show it, but it was like this very complicated. The idea that it was like everything was behind him and kind of like it like had like a motor and like brought it around to the front. I love that.
It's a really interesting idea, actually. I really like that idea in theory. Like that his gadgets are stowed in a certain area, and that maybe he can like call them up to the front based on like some sort of command or something in his gloves or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you could modernize that in a really interesting way.
What do you think of? We haven't really talked about it yet.
This.
What do you think of this suit in general? I mean, you talked about the cowl, but as far as going like all black except for just the two yellow accents.
Okay, I love the yellow accents. The monochromatic color scheme isn't my favorite. I love the design. Okay, the overall look of it, but I want it less rubber and more mobile with a little bit more color. But like the way that the cowl hooks into the Bats logo, the gloves, and I forget about the flippin' ninja.
Oh yeah.
I need a Batman who can turn his head for me to take it seriously.
Yeah.
But
well, it's interesting
I
because
love the gloves. I love the kind of splayed nature of the cowl across the back of the cape with the spikes.
Yeah.
Like really good.
I think this though is the most movement you see out of him in the entire movie right here where he fights this guy.
Yeah.
But it's I mean, and this is
Not a
also
lot, is it?
definitely an example of where you have to edit around the limitations of the suit. Because there, I mean, you could almost imagine like POWs and like because they have to edit the hits in because no Stuntman alive could have. I love that they implied he did kickflip up off the ground there, but obviously nobody could actually do one in this suit. There's no way it would let the human body flex that way.
I've never understood why they've designed the bat suits the way that they have for these films where they like can't turn the head. I feel like it would be, maybe I just need to see some test footage, but I feel like it shouldn't be that difficult to be able to design it to where, and you can do this and kind of an aesthetic thing, okay? Where there's almost like a cloth outline, like a cloth area around the neck that moves and is a little bit slick looking, and then as he's fighting have it get cut and you can see that there's like chainmail underneath or something.
Yeah,
they do that in the Arkham games really well, and I know that they're looking for an iconic silhouette that's not too expensive to make, but I also feel like they can do better.
Yeah.
than what they have been doing up until pretty much The Dark Knight, actually. The Dark Knight is when they really started to figure things out, except
Yeah.
for the cheeks.
Well,
I
and
love
they,
the Dark Knight costume, except for the cheeks.
yeah, but they literally bring it up in The Dark Knight. You know, you want to be able to turn your head. I actually think that Affleck's suit is pretty good.
Well, Affleck. Okay, a lot of people give the Justice League suit flack because of the goggles, and it makes him look like Owlman from Watchmen. I freaking love that bat suit. Oh,
I think he
That is one of the
looked good in
best.
both. I think he looked really good
Oh,
in,
yeah.
in the Snyder cut of Justice
I
League.
don't like
and BVS.
I don't like the big fat bat from Dark Knight Returns that they used in Batman vs Superman. It's just not my favorite logo.
That was a good. Okay, I I actually the music score for this entire drive
Oh yeah.
is so good, and just the fact that he's staying so stoic here and just her along for this ride. I think this sequence is a fantastic just Batman sequence, and then the idea here of just immediately turning it so it's ready to go again. There's a lot of little detail here. And this is our first. We got a tiny glimpse of the Batcave earlier with him sitting at his monitors, but this is our first proper introduction to the Batcave. Also,
Yeah.
I like it.
Also, I do want to mention that one of my favorite Batsuits is actually the one that they use in The Flash. Not Ben Affleck's Batsuit. That one's regarded as actually like the worst Batsuit in all of film. And it actually has some things I like about it. I defend it a little bit more than some people, and I deserve some flack for that. But Michael Keaton's Flash Batman suit is really good. It still has the neck problem, but they take this design and just build on it in such a great way, with the exception of the belt. It needs the yellow belt back. They made it black.
Yeah, as much as like practically, sure, you can argue that it's not as stealthy or whatever, but it gives a little pop of color. I think the problem is that again, part of it's the silhouette, part of it's just so many designers want the cowl incorporated into the cape, and it's hard to do that and make it look good because you get that clean line from the cowl down into the cape, and I get it. Standing still, it looks really good, but yeah, it looks ridiculous as soon as you move, and it's a challenge for sure.
That's why I really like Robert Pattinson's Batsuit, not just because it looks homemade and tactical, but like they have that like collar a little bit raised. It gives it a kind of Dracula vibe.
Yeah.
Ugh, I love that so much. But the one of the things about the Batsuits is that if they don't show the cheeks, they look awful, and that's what the Nolan Batsuit falls into, unfortunately.
Yeah, they brought it in.
The lighting on his eyes in this scene is so good. So comic booky.
Oh, again, I mean, Burton and I forget the name of the cinematographer for this film did a good job. Roger Pratt is the cinematographer for this film. He definitely
sounds
did
like
a good
a little
job.
bit of a Pratt to me.
Well, this movie, I believe. Hold on a second. Let me double check. It won. I'm looking here. Go ahead and talk for a second.
Oh no! I really like that scene.
You got the art direction.
And he like
it won the Academy Award for art direction.
Oh, it deserved it.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, the that kind of scene of his
You thought it was safe in your boobs. He still got it.
He's been there before. But like the cape coming up and her just like waking up in the room, it's creepy, but it's also like, I don't know, it's kind of funny.
I mean, he's got to do what he's got to do.
Yeah. So in one of the original versions of this, the Joker actually kills Vicky at the end. Did you know that?
I heard there are versions where both she dies, and there are versions where the guy that she's working with here, that he also dies in some of the scripts.
Apparently that was supposed to happen for most of it, and they just cut the footage.
I think that I think this movie could use it. I actually, so some of my biggest criticisms actually come with the ending action sequence in this film. Some of the worst shots I think happen there, along with some of the best shots, to be honest. But some of the worst shots happen there, along with just the entire. I'm jumping way ahead. I apologize. The revolver in the pants, The Batmobile literally, the Bat wing showing like locking on and just missing everything, and then taking one. The whole thing to me is just stupid.
Oh yeah, I hate that part. That is my least favorite part of the movie. Also, like
And it's
the Batwing being taken down by a freaking revolver. What the hell is that?
Yeah. Well, that and one of the worst not CG, one of the worst special effects shots in the film also to me is when the Batwing like slides up down the street, like up into the stairs. It's just it looks so much like a cheap model being thrown down a street.
Interestingly enough, that's an expensive model being thrown down.
I'm sure it was. And I don't mean to besmirch the very talented people who worked on this film, but it just looks bad. But anyways, here we go. We're about to get into one of the most famous scenes in this entire movie. I mean, how many people think of, you want to get nuts, let's get nuts. I mean, that's... Although, okay, I'm trying to think of, in Back to the Future 3, they're kind of calling back to, it's one of the good, the bad, I don't think it's Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I think it might be Fistful of Dollars, but one of the Clint Eastwood movies where, you're hiding something bulletproof you improvised under your shirt, right? I mean, it's an old trope.
Yeah.
You're really counting on him to shoot you in the chest.
Right? I mean, center mass is pretty common.
It is. He just shoves her down.
Yeah.
You're a real nice girl. And I like you a lot. But for right now, shut up. Oh, I'm not sure you can get away with that line.
Right? I don't know. I kind of like it. He's a little bit unhinged, and that's one of the aspects about this particular version of Batman that I don't mind, is that he's a little crazy. A man who dresses like a giant bat.
Yeah. This definitely goes with the, I mean, and this has been made fun of many, many times, right? I mean, the superhero cafe that Batman just cannot wait to tell anybody who comes into his life his secret identity. He does it so many times, it's almost its own joke at this point.
Yeah, especially with the movies.
Yeah, you've seen the superhero cafe stuff, right? From How It Should Have Ended.
It's been a long time, but yeah.
Okay, there's like mega cuts of just him and Superman sitting in the cafe talking, and it's just this running joke of just like, you want to know my secret identity? It's like, Bruce, we all know. Stop telling everybody who winks at you. Every pretty girl who comes into your life. Stop it.
Right. I don't know if Vicky I mean, I'm sure at one point in the comics she did, but she wasn't one of the like really serious love interests. She was always kind of like one of the serial love interests who would just kind of be around every now and again. She was never an endgame girl.
Yeah.
Like there were versions where Wonder Woman and Batgirl, Wonder Woman were considered endgame. When I say endgame, I mean like, oh, they're gonna get married and be together forever. For the most part, it's been Catwoman, but there's also some others, like a character by the name of Silver St. Cloud, and then Talia al Ghul, who was played by Marion Cotillard in The Dark Knight Rises, in it poorly, and a couple of others. But Vicky Vale was always just kind of there,
There's a lot of at least they actually show him going to grab this.
Yeah.
You better hope. I mean, I guess if that's an expensive tray, it would be like, real metal, like real silver-plated something.
Also, one of the things that was pointed out that was part of the intention is that, yeah, this might not necessarily work, but it's also like the revolver that he's been using throughout the thing is like a 22. And, a moderate tray like that might be able to stop a 22 pretty easily.
Yeah, if it was not a 22 Magnum, it could do it. Mm-hmm. It was just a standard 22 long rifle.
Yep. His little giggle is great, though.
Yeah. I'm looking at his hair and it's like because this is one of the few like really well lit Joker scenes too. It's not like solid green. It's kind of a green with some brown in there still. It's not as bright.
This is the right way to do a Joker. Like if I was directing something that had the Joker in it, I like the lips and the makeup. I would make his skin a little bit more natural, a little less just kind of bleach white. But the hair, like almost perfect.
So, I mean, here, I'm assuming the plan, the idea is that Bruce Willis. Bruce
Willis?
Oh, I'm not sure where that came from. Bruce Wayne. He wants to intentionally provoke Joker because he wants Joker to leave. So, I mean, he's trying to get this to happen.
Maybe. I don't know if he's necessarily trying to get shot.
I mean,
I think he's trying to get
Have you noticed, by the way, in the background of this movie, how many nude or semi-nude paintings there are all throughout this movie?
Very erotic art is consistent through this movie.
I like all of Jack Nicholson's mannerisms as he's responding to Bruce Willis. I just said it again, Bruce Wayne. What is wrong with me?
Nuts.
What is?
Let's get nuts. He's got that Beetlejuice face in that scene. But
there it is.
There's just this little tiny gun, little tiny 22 Magnum. Okay, I wish that they had this earlier in the movie, when he killed the crime lord or something, just to establish it a little bit more.
Yeah, I think if they had done this earlier and Bruce Wayne had my brain is stuck on Bruce W. I'm not sure why. Sorry, but if it had, because it feels like kind of a third act, because we're kind of getting into the third act now, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would have just felt more, just more natural. Because again, if he always says it all of his prey, there's been one or two opportunities.
He's had a lot of prey so far.
Got to say, because when he should have said it when he, because when he talks up to the dirty cop he shoots, instead of think about the future, he could have said it there. And then when he killed the mob boss, right? Those are the two opportunities that really would have worked naturally.
Oh, the raspberry. I love him blowing the raspberry. That's just perfect.
Runs over. All right. That is bigger than a 22 round, just saying.
Right?
Man, if it went through that much, that would have hurt still bad.
Right? That's a broken rib.
Oh, this. Oh, man.
This is just funny. This is perfect.
Okay. This is one of those films where just women are portrayed as fainting at the drop of a hat. Because they have, the gal he did surgery on faints when she first sees him. Vicky Vale just faints
blondes. There. Just blondes.
He's just blondes. The blondes faint at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's disrespectful or just comedy of the era or what is it, but it's a thing.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to harken back to a little bit more of an older era, kind of like what they're trying to do, making this a little bit of the 60s show, a little bit of 30s noir or 40s noir,
Yeah.
Or maybe it is just of the time. I've never known anybody who's fainted, man or woman, and stuff like that. I used to think that fainting would be way more common.
Yeah, well, we grew up where it happened all the time in movies. Mm-hmm. I mean, even I love the reaction that Lois has in the Superman movie where he's like, "Oh, I must have fainted," and she's like, "Fainted? You fainted? What is wrong with you?"
Who faints?
Yeah, we used to have couches, right, on landings because women couldn't make it upstairs without fainting. That was a thing. Maybe it's because their corsets were way too tight.
Right? And they were on a lot of drugs, especially in the Victorian era.
I love the idea that in the Batcave, there needs to be a special safe for the suit. We're already in the Batcave, but let's make sure if anybody gets in here, they don't get to the suit.
I mean, it might also just be for maintenance because
look at that thing. Look at that door
out in the open, getting all dusty.
It's a cool prop.
I mean,
guess.
It's probably
you got these
a
massive
multi-million-dollar
locking
suit,
bars, right?
Yeah. I mean, it could just be his special cave hideaway. You know, it's if anybody comes down there, if the cops find it, they're just like, "What's in this safe? That's my family's gold bullion safe. You're not allowed in there."
So, what do you think of? I mean, we've talked about the idea of Joker killing him, but killing his parents, but the idea of doing a flashback for that. You know, the famous, what is it now called? The peanuts and the popcorn and pearls, right? Is that what it's known as now?
A little bit, yeah. The popcorn is a little bit less often, but like a rose and pearls is the most common.
Yeah.
So this right here is something that we today wouldn't necessarily understand to the same amount as people back then, but he's mimicking like the fireside chats that
Oh, yeah.
FDR used to do during World War II.
I remember that, and I mean, I grew up. My mom would watch, the Masterpiece Theater stuff on PBS back in the day, where some guy would be sitting there talking about it,
telling you about stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, it's also just the idea that televisions were just on and kind of everywhere at this time too. Like these old TVs, they really were everywhere. And you would have the in the bars, you would have them in the storefronts. Behind, they'd be playing news channels all the time. A little wipe there. Oh man.
Yeah, like him doing the makeup thing and not having the white makeup. It's weird. Like, could you imagine seeing somebody like that on TV?
So it makes him seem. Do you think it makes him seem insecure? Or do you think it makes it seem where he's trying to kind of hide something? Like, what do you interpret the fact that he continually shows himself to the public with this flesh-colored makeup, except where he killed the guy on the stairs, where he had white makeup on, but he redid his lips a little bit, right, to be red just in the middle?
Yeah, I don't really know the intention, to be honest. Like, I think it's supposed to be the mob boss versus the psychopath. Seems to be a motif of his.
Okay, I want to know.
Can you show
are the glasses a disguise? In which case, why would he wear them in private? Or does he actually need them? And when he's like out around the town, he's just like can't read because he doesn't have his glasses.
I think it's just supposed to be like it's his humanized self.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like if he actually needs reading glasses, can you imagine? Like Batman, like, wait a minute, hold on a second, and like tromboning whatever he's trying to read to make sure he can read it.
Right? Like he picks up a newspaper, picks up something he needs to read, a ransom note, and Robin notices that like suddenly lenses drop down from his cowl, and he's like,
so apparently,
what are those lenses for? Nothing.
Yeah. So apparently this is just Tim Burton just thought of this, but never actually asked them that there was supposed to, he talked about potentially doing a cameo with Adam West and the lady who played Selena Kyle as Batman's parents here in this flashback.
It was mentioned, but nothing ever came of it.
Yeah, Tim Burton said it in interviews, but Adam West is like, nobody ever asked me, so it never got past the like, oh, it was an idea I had one day type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm like a tiny sidebar on like one of our favorite YouTubers. I was bummed that Oliver Harper's retrospective on this is so old. Like I want him to do it again because he's gotten. I mean, he was doing good back then, but it's like 13 years old. Oh, this is the one where I think Caravan of Garbage. They're like, this actor who plays young Jack Harper, like his face is perfect.
Or Jack Napier.
Napier, yeah.
Oh yeah, this guy could just play the Joker.
He could.
Look at this guy's freaking face.
There's popcorn right there. There was popcorn and pearls right there. There was popcorn.
Okay, yeah, but popcorn doesn't pop up in all of them. Like popcorn and pearls is called popcorn and curls because of this scene. But in a lot of them, and it pops up in the comics a couple times, but it's almost always a rose and pearls.
Yeah, but this actor's face, the shape of his smile right there. That is like straight out of a comic book.
Oh, yeah. I love this guy's face. And the deep voice. See you around, kid. This guy, his name is Hugo Blick, okay? And he's not really in a lot. You go look at his filmography, and, like, he's done some producing. He's done some, like, writing and directing. Like, as an actor, it's like nothing. This was his first role.
Yeah. So this scene right here.
He's got such a terrifying face.
He does. This is where it's like I don't think Alfred would do this.
I think Alfred.
Like Alfred. You just brought her down here? I'm in my jeans, man. Alfred. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just one of those. I feel at the very least there should have been a conversation between Bruce and Alfred later about this. Like somehow incorporate Alfred. We need to talk about what happened down in the Batcave.
It's like, Alfred, why did you do that? Master Bruce, I desire grandchildren.
I've loved you since I met you.
Yeah, I'm really not a fan of like the instant love that tends
No.
to occur in a lot of superhero films.
Instant attraction is totally fine. Instant love, I as somebody who's very romantic, I have a problem with it too. You
Yeah,
can
but
100%
I mean-
have the hots for somebody immediately, or feel like some kind of a connection. But the idea of like I'm in love with you immediately is something that it bothers me too.
Yeah, love at first sight is often just indigestion. That
I very much believe in lust at first sight.
is true.
That's a thing for sure.
And he is a billionaire, so of course she loves him.
Yeah.
Though I think in this he's just referred to as a multi-millionaire.
Well, at the time, man, the suit looks good on a rack like that,
It does.
and that's it. That's all you need for a suit
Oh,
up.
that right there.
Ah.
Wait, but where's his butt? Brian, I need a gratuitous
butt?
shot of Batman.
Well, you need his butt and you need his
Butt.
codpiece, right?
Oh my god, the freaking cod pieces in superhero movies, man.
And then here we go, the Batmobile with machine guns. Maybe-
Yeah, Batman and his freaking guns. And they're apparently on some sort of gimbaled swivel that can,
Well-
like, cut laterally?
What's great is if you watch while they're shooting, they are bouncing up and down like crazy. Yet you get this perfect line, right?
Yeah. And these guys are just shooting his freaking car with revolvers and Berettas.
Yeah.
And then
Oh man,
blows them all to hell.
yeah. Batman
Like,
kills
Batman
so
just
many people.
murdered 10 people.
Yeah.
It gets worse in the next one, his wanton murder.
Oh, he kills so many
Because
people.
one of the things that's been around for a while is Batman's no-kill rule, which I found out was around a lot longer than I expected. Yeah, he used guns and murked a few people in his very early appearances, but once they started creating rules for the character, that was a big one. He didn't trust himself to kill. He knew that if he killed, if he decided to take that power into his own hands, he would essentially turn into the Punisher. He would turn into a god of death. It wasn't necessarily about the concept of justice so much as that he would turn from a being of justice to a being of like slaughter.
He's got his logo on the side. I get it. So that's something that is very kind of 60s Joker. The idea that like literally he has his helicopter like with his logo on the side of it.
Are you familiar at all with the Thanos copter?
I'm aware that it exists. Okay,
Yeah, there
here's
was
the
a
other
comic.
the big Prince song from this.
Yeah.
Just him on a float. I love that his goons are like totally just into it also. Like, so at least up top they are. The ones down lower are kind of like they're dancing the way that I would at a party, where you just kind of like you're moving just enough to not be accused of not dancing, but you really are not comfortable at all.
Yeah. They're like if Secret Service agents were required to dance.
Yeah.
Like, we've got
You
guns.
got the money in just like
We're
the old
watching.
hefty bags.
Mhm.
It's great.
Yeah. And like him just throwing money out. I'm sitting here going, this guy has been doing so much sus stuff. Nobody would be out here. And then working with the public, I'm like, yep.
Oh, the
Yeah,
public
they do
would
that.
absolutely sign up for this.
Yeah. There'd be TikTokers down there being like, I got this money from the Joker. He's actually like a really good guy. He's just disabled. And
He's
fighting
misunderstood.
the good fight.
I mean, these balloons, they seem like they legit got like, parade balloons for this. It's all
Yeah.
shop, that's pretty much for real.
I don't
Well,
believe they actually had the very large balloons. I think they had the one. But I know that a lot of them are miniatures that are forced
Oh.
perspective and comped.
Well, because this is mostly shot in Pinewood, I believe, right? Over in England.
Correct. Pinewood Studios in London.
Yeah, and they
Or
did
England.
have like didn't they reuse like some of the sets from Aliens for like the Ace chemicals. I mean, I know there's a lot of
Correct.
a
They
lot
did.
of big soundstage work done on this film.
Yes.
Okay, that's like a crying baby in the background with the one tooth. It's just
Uh-huh.
creepy.
Yeah, that's like something out of a weird Tex Avery.
Gotham's Greed.
It's a good one.
It's just like, oh man. Okay, here we go though.
Just jumping around.
The Batwing.
The Batwing.
It does look cool, I gotta say.
Okay, so I had this idea, all right? Imagine that you have a Batman TV show. And this is something that Brian has heard me say many times, okay? You have a Batman TV show.
Okay.
You have an episode and you just have a cold open, okay? Like it's not even necessarily connected to the entire rest of the episode. Where you have this guy and he's on a date, okay? And as he's on a date, he's talking to this lady about, oh, I was in the Air Force, I do some contract work, I'm on call all the, she asks like, oh, why are you checking your phone? He's like, oh, I'm on call all the time. It's just one of those things. And she's like, oh, for what? It's like, it's an NDA thing. And then he actually gets a text, like, and he has to leave, and she's upset. He's like, I'm sorry, I can't. And he, like, drives to this place and goes in this elevator. He puts on, like, a balaclava, and there's all these other people with balaclavas, and they don't see each other. And they go and they service some plane in the dark. And then they all have to line up and turn around and face a wall, and then you see Batman like moving behind him, and he gets into his Batwing, and then they all have to disperse, and they're all anonymous. Then he gets like $1,000 wired into his bank account or something like that, and it just shows kind of like how Batman keeps up with his stuff, but it's all like really layers of anonymous and spending money and things like that. I just think that'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's just like the green gas. They like the bulging
He's
neck.
a little
It's
gassy.
again this. I do like the Joker plots a lot.
Mhm.
Because again, this is also a very Joker-esque plot. Using the balloons. Just like very out in public, just killing people.
Okay, but here's my question for you, Brian. Why?
Like, what's the point?
Yeah, what is the point?
Well, to quote an overly quoted line, some men just want to watch the world burn.
He's an agent of chaos.
I love that she. Oh my gosh, the N95 mask. Oh man, she rolls up the windows like. Oh man,
This guy gets this little hero moment of like beating guys with a baseball bat.
he doesn't actually.
where
Like,
he
he
was
never makes
supposed to die.
contact either. You can tell.
But you believe it in the moment.
Oh, I love that the Batwing had the random. I mean, this is quintessential Batman, that he always has the right gadget, but that he's got this like gripper thing, in the front of his Batwing to grab these.
Mhm.
Oh,
Like he's got a little snipper.
okay. I guess
Like,
his
what's
next
that
pass.
for?
I thought it was
In
that
case
pass
he
he just
needed
did.
to give Godzilla a drive-by circumcision.
Ooh, it takes this.
And again, he's just killing people.
Oh man. Well, there it was like, okay, so these guys' plan was to go with the balloons, just holding on. Like, what was the plan to get out of this thing? Because they
I'm
came
not a
with
big
masks.
fan.
Why did they even need to? Like, they could have stayed on the ground. They would have been fine.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of Joker plans that are just for the sake of, being evil and stuff like that. It's a little, it's stupid sometimes. And I don't really like this plot and its resolution in that, like, what is he doing it all for? It's not for money or power, and the Joker doesn't necessarily need to want those things, but just for the sake of hurting people and being a little gremlin. Like, I don't know. I want something a little bit more substantial. And
what's his plan for? I mean, what's his plan for? With the makeup stuff. I mean, it was just to kill people.
Yeah,
just to cause chaos. I
something-
mean, I guess I feel like most of his plans are just, he just wants to be an agent of chaos. I mean, I definitely think that, and I meant it when I say that it gets overquoted, right? That line.
Mm.
But I also feel like it is accurate.
Yeah. I really love the Alfred line of "Some men just want to watch the world burn," because that's something that we get away from in today's society and media. There's the we've talked about this before. I don't know if on podcast or not, but like there's so many people out there who believe that humans are essentially good, and they're not.
No.
There's people out there who are genuinely evil and just selfish and all this stuff. Oh, I love this. That is so freaking Joker. Like, he's just like, Bob, gun. Bob gives her the gun, and then he shoots Bob.
But there was
how freaking perfect.
Yeah,
is that?
I do wish. I know they were too close to even use a blank right there. I do wish they had gotten some kind of an effect in the end of the muzzle, because there's the sound effect. Oh, the moon shot.
So gratuitous. I love it.
It's gratuitous, but
The Batwing in
it
front of the
works
moon.
for this movie. It wouldn't work nowadays, but it works then.
Yeah. I like this design of the Batwing. They bring it back in Batman Forever, and that's a really good design. I had the toy.
Didn't they have a version
But
of this in the Flash? Doesn't he have a plane in that movie?
Yeah, and it looks pretty good.
In the
Like
Batwing,
they
has
have
so
a
many
scene
guns.
with one of the Barry Allens, because there's 2 Barry Allens in that movie. Double the Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, this does annoy me though greatly.
Yeah, this is not a good scene.
It's
The,
just
the comp job's weird. Like, and this is of course homaged in The Dark Knight with the truck scene. And it's like, come on, and hit me.
Yeah.
And that's like a proper homage to me. Like, that's how you do it. And he's just like, I'm not gonna kill ya, but I'm gonna kill all your henchmen.
But here, it's like, I fully believe the intent was for Batman was going to kill him right here.
Yeah,
I mean,
and he missed.
Yeah, but say, do you buy that Batman was trying to not kill him there?
I don't know what the intent of this scene is, other than it's supposed to be like, oh no, Batman missed, but now he's gonna freaking. That looked like what, a 44 Magnum with a 3-foot barrel, and he's able to shoot down a state-of-the-art plane equipped with guns and missiles.
But this right here, this impact, this model, and it's just the way it was shot. There's something about it. It looks,
It's a combination of the lighting, but it's also stuff like the smoke effects and fire effects.
I feel like everything feels small. Like
real?
those cars right there, they looked like models. They didn't look like real cars.
The reason why is because of the fire and smoke effects. We can tell when fire and smoke is big or small. And so they had real fire effects. The fire in real life is small, and we can tell when fire looks small. And so those cars would have looked perfectly real in other situations. But in this particular situation, they looked small because they were next to small fire.
Yeah.
And then here we have this whole thing. They just go in the church. Like,
well, I believe certain aspects of this were very a late addition, right? Like a lot of the stuff that happens up here in the church.
Mm-hmm.
I remember reading somewhere that Jack Nicholson was like, "Why are we climbing all these stairs?" Like, just like what is kind of questioning, like what is the point of all this?
He's escaping with her.
Yeah, but then there he was like hiding under some debris or something. Like,
he was in a little armored escape pod or something.
I mean, I do think
Totally
and I get it. Batman in kind of an old, Gothic style Catholic church, it just fits the aesthetic really well.
Mm-hmm.
But I did read in one or two retrospectives, it said that roughly when he calls for a helicopter, we do have pretty close to a real 10 minutes happen between the two things.
Exactly, actually, yeah.
Okay.
It is one of those things.
But this is where okay. Oh, I hate the collapsible barrel. It's so dumb.
Yeah. A collapsible barrel in a gun would not work.
No, it
They've
wouldn't.
tried it many, many times. The best you can do is have one that screws off.
All the pews. Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. I swear, though, I have played this level in Arkham.
Oh, dude, so many churches in Arkham.
Yeah. Well, there was the one in Arkham City.
Immediately comes to mind.
That-
That's actually not a church. That's a courtroom.
No. But where Joker takes the shot from. and there's the medical at the bottom. The top of that,
yeah.
that's a church.
Okay, you're right. You're right. I was thinking of the two.
Man, that is I mean, it looks cool, but like that's that shot down there as far as how far down it looked. That's the this movie's equivalent to Kirk, Spock, and McCoy shooting up the turbolift shaft. As far as like, no, it wasn't that tall, not even close.
Right. The deck 130.
Oh man, yeah. So it's kind of interesting here. We have this kind of, I feel like they lose a little momentum here as they're just kind of walking upstairs before we get to the rest of the action. I don't know. Do you feel like this drags a little bit right here all of a sudden, waiting for this?
Oh, absolutely. I always thought it was just kind of a product of its time directing and kind of giving people a moment to breathe before the climax, but it's just kind of dull.
Yeah, like this is where like the movie was, it's just it gets boring here for a few minutes until Batman finally catches up with him.
Well, they needed to pad it out so that way it's the 10 minutes.
Yeah. Instead of just, doing it gets here in 5 minutes. Although I do appreciate, this, the whole, let's release the bell. That's some powerful acid.
That's one of the things that the Joker's always known for is acid.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. Batman is very lucky there. Just like
right
that the piece that he was on. Oh man, that bell. How much does an old cast iron bell like that weigh?
Right? It's got to be like about 2,000 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, so Commissioner Gordon here, who again just like plays no point in the story. Like he's Commissioner Gordon, his police department is very corrupt and kind of inept, right? Other than just being named, doesn't do anything.
Nope. He's just there because Commissioner Gordon is known to be an associate of Batman who's important to the comic books somehow.
So here, okay, we got the perspective again. It's just, it keeps shifting. Like I feel like this tower changes how tall it is depending on the shot.
Yeah. The church just, at first it's a cathedral and now it looks like some sort of like vampire's tower.
Yeah. And then there again, the comp job of like the searchlights going up on it, it looks like a bad comp job on a rushed model.
Yeah. And I think that might be exactly what it is.
Ooh. You got the and there's, I guess there's more than one bell, right? But there's another bell up there.
Yeah. I mean, that's fairly normal.
Yeah.
More than one bell.
That's a trailer shot. Just that really fast turn.
Mm-hmm. And they have another flippy dude. How did he get up there?
This is the guy from Winter Soldier. Okay, what was that? So he had like a little palm armor there because this guy had knives coming out of his boots.
Very
just like, all right, and of course you have that it's I wouldn't call it an iconic shot, but it's definitely it's done a few times where you have a guy flying through the air. It's almost like a modern equivalent would be like an anime shot of somebody who just holds a pose. I do like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So see that immediately makes me think of the first Ninja Turtles movie, where they're like, guys, I'm not sure. Structurally speaking, this is the best time for your buddies to drop in.
I've never seen it.
Oh my gosh! All right, it's gonna be my gift to you someday, friend.
All right, I'm into it.
Just the first one. The rest of them kind of suck.
I was like a kid. I rented the second one when I was like a kid and loved it and watched it all the time, and I remember nothing from it.
The second one, kids loved, and you watch it now and it's bad. The first one is actually genuinely good.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
But and then of course we have the bang, right? They're just classic Joker thing, right?
Yeah.
So did he switch guns, or did he just have that gun set up to after a certain number of rounds it would do that instead? Okay,
I don't know.
Isn't this the Predator?
Is it?
Yeah,
I didn't find that in my research.
Like that
they have them all bloody and stuff.
Okay, I'm pretty sure the guy he's fighting here was in one of the Predator costumes.
Okay. I'm looking through it to see if I recognize any of them. Napier Hood.
He just takes some hits here too, like Batman does. Batman's just getting like, he just taking
Pummeled?
hits.
It's whack, whack, whack. Jimmy.
Ooh. Now this
Yeah.
here just straight
Ow.
up kills this guy. You get the he gives this guy the Onatop, you know, from it's what's her face from Bond, you know, and she was Jean Grey.
Xenia Onatop and GoldenEye.
Kill her thighs.
Famke Jensen. Yep. I don't know. He kind of got his bell rung. But
Ooh. Okay, and this is the
yeah, this just goes on a little bit too
it
long.
does.
You're just like,
and
because I don't understand what Joker's doing.
well, he's waiting for the
My
helicopter.
issue, and this, I know, but it's just like, what's he gonna do after? Why is he doing anything in the first? Like, even when I was a kid, I was confused as to what he was doing, and I can't get off that. And I get it, but maybe he's just an agent of chaos and a serial killer who happens to have
Well,
some power. Blah, blah, blah.
And then is Kim Basinger here? Is she just like up until this moment where she like re-engages? Was she just like half fainted again, where she was just like kind of limply being danced around, like, you know, very kind of
she was,
helplessly, right?
Trauma catatonic.
Maybe. I love the detail where she like pulls a piece of lint out of her mouth, like ew, and then keeps going. It's a tiny detail, but I like it. It's just,
Yeah. That's really, I didn't even notice that until this watch.
oh
That's a good
man.
one. But yeah, the girl pretending to be into the villain is a fun little trope. This is a weird one though.
Okay, I hate the way he delivers that line. It's just
Right? It's just a little, it's a little too casual.
But see, this is where I do like the energy they kind of give each other here. Where Jack Nicholson is just like, you know, just very, and then, you know, Michael Keaton is also just, you know, there's a good energy matching here between like this. All of a sudden, the movie gets a tiny bit of momentum again for like a half minute here.
100%. Like, it's so weird how they're so easily able to slip into that kind of
Just the whole
like rapport.
punch in the armor. Oh man.
It gets like, this has been in mostly.
I forgot that he
movie, like,
actually
there's
says
death,
it.
but there's not like a blood.
You made me, I made you first, or like he literally says it out loud.
Yeah,
The glasses. I kind of like that, actually.
That moment.
Okay, that
And then
is that's one of those gags that I actually find annoying. The whole, you know, he went over the edge, but magically he's like set up perfectly to grab them and flips them over. It's just, it's very set up. It's very stagey.
Yeah, very. Yeah, that the comp job on the lights is rough.
Did he just have that ready to go, I guess?
Yeah,
I mean,
where did he get the fake hand?
Yeah.
Where does he get this marvelous toy?
yeah, where does he get all this? I mean,
And then how did he lift her up there? Like, he very, like, it's such a, he lifts her up to grab the ledge, and he's clearly not hanging. Yeah, come on, Batman, get a grapple gun. You've got one, surely.
again, I do
Yeah,
I do
the
kind of like,
performance is really good.
yeah, I do like the manic energy going on. Man, this guy's teeth, that henchman with the on the left there,
Right?
the
I
guy
hope those are
needs
fake teeth.
he's got some chompers, man.
It was filmed in London, so.
He's just shaking his butt. Oh man. Yeah, his jacket turns red here and then back to purple. You notice that?
Yeah, that's
It has to do with the way they do green screen work, I think.
Mm-hmm. Like, that's one of the reasons why blue screens became so popular.
Yeah, I
Foreshadowing.
this goes on
Sometimes
a little
I
too
just
long.
kill myself.
Batman definitely, he spends too long kind of being useless here before then he's like, all right.
Yeah, he's just dangling.
Is that a
There's that gas
bola?
gun. A bola.
A bola. I did
Not
love. Okay, so
Ebola.
not
A
quarter cruise.
bola.
Caravan of Garbage. I loved their little take here that if he had just let go before this thing, he would have just like, you know, just swung
Hung
around
around.
and smacked his head into the side of the building, but probably would have survived. It's just-
So this is actually the same ending that they had filmed an
weird
ending
comp again.
supposedly, okay? Because yeah, but legendarily Christopher Nolan doesn't have deleted scenes or anything like that. Like he plans his shots out so meticulously that he doesn't have deleted scenes. But supposedly they were going to actually actively kill Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight in a very similar manner to this.
Oh man,
And
again,
decided
this
not
is
to
where
after that.
there's some really rough comp work here.
Yeah. But okay, did you notice there when he finally
Oh, they would
hits-
both be dead. Like the speed they stopped at there was no deceleration of any kind. They just jerked.
Nope. They would be absolutely their innards would continue to move after their outards had stopped. And then, like the ground is cracked. You have any idea how much blood would be just splattered all over
Oh,
the
yeah.
ground right now?
Yeah, his face is way too intact. And then the whole like that he has like the laughing box going.
Oh, that's great though. I love that.
Yeah. Keep
Like,
reminding myself, oh, that's right. That's Jim Gordon.
That's not Jim Gordon. That is a vague facsimile of Jim Gordon.
Oh, he's got the scarf and the hat.
He's like a proper British constable.
Oh man.
Reign of crime is over.
Yeah, so
Thanks.
this movie, it's so, the music is iconic. So much of the design work, this movie was a big part of kind of giving studios confidence to put some real money into superhero movies again, to take them to take this, as much as this movie is kind of campy by today's standards, it also, was serious for the time and kind of gave it is responsible for a lot of good things that came after it.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely deserves of being this is a touchstone piece of Batman's history, as far as as much as it broke a lot of the rules in the canon when it came to just design and ideas around him. It was. I mean, there's no denying the influence of this film.
Oh yeah, and comics definitely took some from this movie.
Yeah,
and it did add to the Batman ethos.
Yeah. This last shot, as much as it's not perfect again from the comp level, it still is a cool shot here.
Oh, it's a great shot.
Yeah. I mean, the light looks goofy. Like, it doesn't look like real light at all. But it's just the imagery of it. The imagery of him standing, with that. And it's just such a cool image, right?
Yeah. And it's one that's been echoed. Do you ever see, like, the Jim Lee art of him, like, the cape billowing around him with the bat signal?
Yeah.
And he's, like, 1 foot on the gargoyle and chest
Jim
out.
Lee's... Jim Lee is I know this is not even remotely a hot take, but he is my favorite Batman artist. His visions of Batman are what I think of when I think of Batman in drawn form first.
There was one really good Batman design. I'm trying to remember it. Who did it? But it was one of the newer ones. It was around like 2018 or something like that. And they had the yellow around the bat, but it wasn't like the full oval. It was like just an outline of gold or yellow around the actual bat in like a line. It looked so good. Like, I want to see that design in very similar to the way that they added some yellow on the outside of Superman's S in James Gunn's Superman. It was like that, but with the bat symbol. And I really want to see that adapted into live action.
They have the bell going there.
It sounds almost Christmassy when you add that.
It does a tiny bit, yeah. But I'm looking at in my I don't own a lot, but I have a nice hard copy of the Hush graphic novel.
Hush.
And from a art perspective, because that was Jim Lee's era, it looks just
I said hush.
so good.
It does.
Both, I mean, and they all look good. Like Superman looks great in that one also. But
I forgot Superman was in Hush.
yeah, he's. So it's prompting me to watch Batman Returns, which later I will.
Later.
This music just works though. That's good. Yeah, so this is one of those movies. Like I said, I respect this film for what it did, and I don't want to take away from anybody who like this is their Batman. But it just, as much as I was the right, I was a kid when this came out. I was the target audience for its toys, and I like Michael Keaton tremendously. This will still, honestly, like this is kind of third for me. Fourth if you count like a animated series, because I like Bale's Batman very, very much. I like Affleck's Batman very, very much, and then after that would be this one. And if you put the animated, if you put Kevin Conroy in there, he's actually number one for me easily if you include him in that conversation. So
oh yeah, Kevin Conroy is my Batman.
Yeah.
Like I love his performance. I love what he brought into Batman, and just like he put so much of himself and into the character and was able to like he actually changed the character in the comics because of how good his performance in even just as a voice actor was, and he really deserves the accolades that he gets.
Yeah,
and I'll always remember the comic book after his death. They released a short little thing that was drawn by like the official artists of Gordon calling Batman, and he tells Batman about this thing that's going on, and he's just like, "You okay?" And he hands Gordon a paper and he says, "Sorry, I've lost my voice." And it was in loving memory of Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
It was just
he's
perfect.
He's probably one of the. This is a weird pairing, although we talked about him briefly in this episode. In the last, I want to say 10 years, I think that's the right era. The two celebrity deaths that hit me the hardest were Kevin Conroy and Robin Williams. They were the two that just, I liked so much of their work. So much of their work impacted me on a personal level that just made me sad.
Oh yeah, no, I was very, very sad when I heard that he had passed as well. I didn't even know that he'd been dealing with cancer for so long.
Yeah.
I
was gonna say though, it's not on the schedule right now.
Who Kevin Conroy is, but Kevin Conroy was the voice of Batman for 30 years.
Oh yeah.
Through the animated series, through the video games, through various media and movies, and he was so good. He helped literally define who the character was, and he based his initial performance off of Michael Keaton's performance from this movie.
Yeah.
But he improved it. He took Michael Keaton's famous "I'm Batman" from the beginning of this movie, and he adapted it into like his catchphrase.
Yeah.
And he did it really, really well.
It's not on the schedule right now, but at some point, just because we need to have a Conroy film that we do. I feel like we have to do Mask of the Phantasm at some point, just so we review a movie that where he's in it.
Oh yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
So yeah, so this is, I mean, I feel like even though it's not the exact same things for us, I feel like we probably are in similar places with this film, right?
We are. I think that I have even less nostalgia for it than you. I remember seeing Batman Begins and just loving it. And I remember turning to my dad and being like, "So where does this movie stack in terms of Batman movies?" Because I was just like, oh god, my dad loves the classic stuff, because I knew how I felt about like Superman and things like this thing that I just have just instantly fallen in love with Batman. And I really want my dad to like it, because he's, a very opinionated man and has a lot of it. he hated Batman and Robin, and when I was a kid, I loved Batman and Robin because I didn't know any better. And like I was just like, he's gonna say that this is still the best one. That's what he's gonna say, and he was, to my shock, he was just like, that may be the best superhero movie I've ever seen, and I was floored. And so, as a kid, this was the gold standard of superhero movies. Although apparently the gold standard was actually Superman, but my parents just didn't watch it as much because I wasn't as interested in that movie because it wasn't super action heavy, and I was a kid. And it, I didn't like it as much as I thought I should. I liked Batman and Robin better.
Yeah.
I know it's horrible, but especially Batman Forever. I just loved those movies.
Well,
they're so bright and colorful, and I was the right age for it, you know?
A kid who like if you were, 8, 10 years old and you preferred this over Batman Forever, I'd be like, what's wrong with you? Because like a kid, it makes perfect sense that a kid would prefer Forever and Batman and Robin over this. This movie is weird to a kid. This movie would be like odd to a kid.
And it was.
Yeah.
It straight up was.
Yeah. So this is, I just repeat myself. I respect this film. I enjoy a lot of the elements of this film. And I think that it was overall a positive for superhero films. I'm glad that it happened, even if by no means was the output, after this great when it came to the direction it went. But I do think you can trace. I think Superman, this, and then to a lesser extent like Blade. And we've talked about this when we did like X-Men. You can kind of trace a line to these few success stories that really did prove that if you do it right, you can get something special. Where you get to the modern renaissance of superhero films. And I think that this is I don't think you can possibly draw that line through film history without drawing it right through this movie as well as a few others.
Oh, absolutely. This one was so stinking important. And it's like kind of a toss-up because you have Superman, you have Batman, you do have Blade in there, but Blade was more kind of flew under the radar. Like it was a hit, mind you, but it flew under the radar in comparison to the others, specifically of X-Men and Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah.
Like Spider-Man was the thing that really set it off more than anything else. But it's like that was what created modern superhero movies.
Yeah.
Was X-Men and Spider-Man, but definitely Spider-Man more than X-Men.
Yeah, but you needed,
even though X-Men allowed Spider-Man to be made.
Yeah,
but they're all important in their own way. But in terms of bigness and cultural relevance, it's going to be Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man.
Well, and I think that this Superman and this movie, and that's where I would say Blade and X-Men.
They were important from a back end.
But I was going to say, to be films that a filmmaker can point to and convince a studio, give me a chance because this can happen. That's important because for all the misses, the hits stand out so well that they keep it alive. That when you nail these
confidence,
when you nail these movies, you do get something special. So, anyway, I have not watched Returns in a long time. I know a lot of people prefer Returns over this, which is, like people who are big Keaton, Tim Burton fans. I've heard that many times, and I'm kind of curious because I have not seen Returns. It's probably been 15 years. So I'm gonna watch that this week, and I'm looking forward to visiting that with you next week.
Well, and for those of you who are just like, you didn't talk about Tim Burton very much, because I know that my sister, who's a huge Tim Burton fan, is going to be listening to this, and she's going to be thinking to herself, you really glossed over Tim Burton. That's because I'm saving it for next week, which is just a really weird-ass Tim Burton movie that happens to have Batman in it.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about it all then, because I have some fun stories about that, like when I got to subject my wife, who loved the Penguin from Gotham, the TV show Gotham, where he's kind of a pretty boy goth sad boy, which that was just what she liked when she was younger. and I got to subject her to Danny DeVito's Penguin.
Transitioning from that to Danny DeVito's take, that's quite a thing. It's quite a thing.
That's a bold move, Cotton.
I mean, that is like transitioning from Jim Carrey's Riddler to Paul Dano's Riddler.
Paul Dano. Oh my God.
Is it Dino or Dano?
I'm
Is
so
it Paul Dano?
I've heard it as Dano.
Okay, you're probably right. But anyways, yeah. As
know.
far as just how different can you get?
Right?
Oh goodness. All right. Well, I think we should wrap this one up, but definitely looking forward to next week. So please tune back in and join us to have all of our thoughts on Tim Burton and Batman Returns.
And you can go ahead and tell us how wrong we are about what an incredible classic masterpiece of a movie this is that changed cinema forever, and argue with us. I will argue with you about Batman all day long. And Batman should be a TV show. Thank you, everybody. We need more Batman, and we need Robin, and we need Nightwing, and we need Red Hood, and we need Tim Drake, and we need Batgirl and Spoiler, and all of them to actually be in a proper movie. And you're going to hear more about that next week because I'm going to rant. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
There's doors and corners, kid. If you don't clear the room, if you don't come in slow, that room will eat you.